Hi guys. How are you all? How are you all doing today? Hey Maria. Hey everybody. How are you all doing today? Hey Shannon. So Shannon, I am getting everything uploaded into YouTube today from yesterday for our boot camp. It finally decided that it wanted to cooperate and start working. So you are welcome. I'm glad that you were in class yesterday. I'm glad that you got a lot out of it. So I'm getting it uploaded. What I'm probably going to do is I don't know. I'll probably go ahead and send out the link and just let you guys know that it is likely going to take a little bit for it to get uploaded because it is a fairly large file. But that way you guys at least have the link. And then as soon as it is processed, you don't have to wait for me to get it sent out type thing. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if it will give me kind of an estimated time. I felt so bad, like I was literally 99% done. And then my internet just decided it wanted to just do whatever it wanted to do. So I'm going to put a light on here so that way it looks not so dark. Yeah, I walked out of my office. And as soon as I was walking out of my office, my husband was like, I thought you were going to be a little bit longer. I said, well, I thought I was going to be longer too. But life happened. Totally fine. But at least we were 99% of the way done. The only thing that I really had to talk about was the test taking and stuff at the end. So it's all stuff that was just can go in an email anyways. She's doing a lot better today. She her cherry eye has now popped back out. I swear it's like one thing or the other with these dogs. But she's doing pretty good today. She actually had a pretty good night last night. Do you want to come say hi? Come here. Come here. Come here, sweetie. Come on. Come on. No. She said no. I want nothing to do with you all. I'm going in the other room. Bye. But yeah, she's doing pretty good today. Luckily. So Melissa asked, once you take the final at the end of the course, it should tell you which ones you missed. You'll have to go back in and look at your grade book and then select the assignment, which is going to be your final exam. And then it'll give you feedback. It'll tell you the questions that you got incorrect. And then it will tell you the questions. It'll give you feedback and all of that. Let's see. So Shannon, it has uploaded, fairly quickly upload. It's just a matter of the processing. So it hasn't given me an estimated time yet. So I'll let you know. Shannon, I know. Last year I wasn't as super active on TikTok and all of the other areas. So unfortunately, I wish I could have gotten to everybody last year. For sure. There's still even a lot of people that are saying, oh, I wish I found you last week, type thing. So. Oh, DJK, you started the course last week. So AAPC used to send us tracking numbers but they stopped for some reason. So if you don't get your books in 10 business days, which is essentially 2 weeks, if you don't get them within those 2 weeks, then let us know and we can request tracking for you. Most students are getting them within like a week at the most. I've even had some people say that they've gotten them like 2 or 3 days later. Depends on where you are, where you're located, how close you are to the distribution centers, all of that kind of stuff. So give it about 2 weeks. And then hopefully they will be there in the meantime, within those 2 weeks. But if for some reason it's not there within 2 weeks, yeah, I was going to say, Sean, it really just depends on where you are and how many orders. And if you order it on a Friday, they don't process it till Monday, those types of things. But yeah, they do typically come fairly quickly. But yeah, we've had a couple that, it has taken just a little bit longer just because if there's a holiday, which I don't think there's really any holidays coming up. At least during the week, that it would delay anything. So like if you ordered it on a Friday, then it may not come until maybe Wednesday or Thursday. But yeah. So I want to get my CCS. I already have your CPC. Okay. But you can't find any prep classes online. The only one that I know of that I would trust sending people over to, is a gentleman by the name of, his name is Pietro. I think that's how you say his name. Let me look and see if I can find his website real quick, and I will share it with you. Because from what I've heard, he's really, really good. He's reputable. There are a lot of people that really enjoy his classes. So his website is hang on, I'm trying to get it. It is called primacodemasters.net. I don't think I can comment to put it in there, but it's Prima, Prima, and then codemasters.net. This is what his website looks like. So he does CCS prep, and I've never heard a bad thing about him. So I don't personally know him, but I know he has been in a lot of the groups on Facebook, and I've, like I said, I have never heard anything about he doesn't give what he promises, or his courses are very in-depth, and since you have your CPC, you already kind of have that base knowledge, which is what he kind of suggests that you have, and then you just jump right into the CCS, the ICD-10 PCS, all of those things. Hang on. Okay, yeah, so you've heard of Pietro. Sorry, I was talking and I wasn't even watching comments. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I just got it done last week. I watched it for the first time yesterday. So it's been a week and a half. But yeah, I finally watched it yesterday. And I feel like the first time that you watch it, it actually looks good. And then after that, it all goes downhill. Yeah, Brittany. Chapters 4 and 5. Yeah, you feel like you haven't. Hang on, I feel like I've learned nothing in 4 and 5. So much info and so much to remember. Yeah, it's a lot of information. It is a ton of information. If you don't feel like you've retained it, then that's totally fine, because you're going to see your ICD-10 later on in your chapters. So don't feel like you have to be a master at ICD-10. Just have the general knowledge and then know what we're going to pull into those later chapters when we start to do everything all at once. Shannon, if you're still on here, I hope you have a good day. I know you said a little bit ago that you were leaving, but if you are still here, have a good day. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are, I feel like I'm looking like terribleness today, but I had a long day with boot camp yesterday. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. My brain is done. So you guys know how to make a girl feel good. Elizabeth, I'm glad that those 3 weeks helped tremendously for you. And congratulations on passing. If I haven't said it before, congratulations on passing. I feel like I have seen where you had told me that you passed, and I hope I said congratulations at that point. But with the way that my brain has been lately, I make no guarantees about anything that I've done prior to like this second, because even this morning I still don't really make any promises. How's everybody doing today? You guys doing anything fun? Anything good? Michelle, you signed up last week waiting on the books. Yes, give your brain a little bit of a break, because if you jump right into it, it's going to get a little overwhelming. So give yourself a little bit of a break. If you want a little bit of like a break, but you still want to keep active, if that makes sense, so that your brain doesn't just completely shut down, chapters 1 and 2, you can do those interactive lectures while you're waiting on your books to come, and then that way you're still like doing something, but they're really not super hard chapters. It's the business of medicine, so you're going to learn about like compliance and HIPAA and all of those things. And then chapter 2 is midterm and anatomy, but it is a very high level, so it's a good way to kind of like just absorb some things without like overwhelming yourself, for sure. Angie, if somebody was offering the books from the course and then I bought from you, explain what you mean by that, Angie. Do you mean you'll have the coding manuals and then you just want to do the course? Is that what you're asking? Oh, Adelise, you did the on-demand boot camp. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad that you're loving it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. So how do you split up studying between the books? I'm teaching myself and struggling with it. Practice. That's the hardest part, is reading it and putting it into practice type thing. Go out to my YouTube channel that's up in my bio. It is Medical Coding with Legacy Education. And out there on that YouTube channel, we have a lot of study groups where we have covered scenarios and how to apply the guidelines and how to apply and use your manuals and get through. So try those out. Yeah, Amy, I'm glad. I'm glad that skipping of that chapter helped a little bit if you're overwhelmed, for sure. So you're taking your exam April the 17th. That's coming up, but don't be nervous, I promise. I guess you can be nervous. Just don't let that nervousness overwhelm you so that it becomes too much. Jeannie, you're binge watching The Pit. I have wanted to start watching that, but I haven't had a chance. So let me know how it goes. Good. I'm glad that it helped, Amy. Hey, April. Okay, so yeah, you can buy the books. However, with the course, you get the books. If you've already purchased the books, it's fine. We can basically like take that allowance for the books and put it towards 2026 so that you don't have to buy them next year. But we are not able to discount the course any, just because we get it straight as a package from AAPC. They don't really let us like do a whole lot with it, but we can allow to put 2026 books instead of 2025 when they come out. It is very easy to get overwhelmed. It is a lot of information. That's why a lot of people start to do self-study and then they realize that it's a lot. And sometimes people will, translate into doing or transfer over into a self-paced program where it does save a little bit of money still. But yeah, it definitely is a lot. So don't feel bad that you're overwhelmed. Jennifer, you're studying for the CCS. Yeah, so I actually just went over this. It's totally fine. I know you weren't on here, but let me show you. His name is Pietro Ingrande, and it is Primo Code Masters. Was it? Hang on. I don't remember if it was .net or .com. I think it was .com. Nope, was not .com. Primo Code Masters. .net. Prima. Prima. One of these days I'm going to get my life together. Prima Codemasters.net. This is what his website looks like. So he does CCS prep. Exactly. So you're on chapter 8. You feel like you haven't learned or remember much besides the basics. Is that normal? Everybody's going to be different. Chapter 8 tends to be where people kind of get a little overwhelmed just because there's a lot of anatomy that's played into chapter 8 with your musculoskeletal. But have you done practices and, you've done all your assignments and you feel like you're doing pretty good? It may just be that your brain is processing it a little bit, easier than some. Yeah, Amy, you can do that. Yeah, just read the chapters during the week. Do your interactive lectures later. You don't have to sit and do it all in one day. I think that's what a lot of people think, is they just have to rush and do it all in one day, and then that's whenever it can become overwhelming. Yeah, just take it one chapter at a time. Corey, so if you're wanting to do boot camp is highly recommended after you've done your course, because it is a lot of information that I'm going to throw at you in 8 hours. It will be recorded, so you can go back to it and all of that. But if you are only 2 or 3 chapters in, or you're only learning, you still have quite a bit of learning to do, then I would highly recommend waiting until you get closer to the end of your course. Just that way it's more of a review and you don't have this flash of here's what's coming, this is crazy type thing. I can't type anything in the comments. It doesn't let me leave a comment on something that I am doing. Oh, so crafty. Hang on. What was your name? I don't know that I put 2 and 2 together that was you. I really don't remember. I don't think I did. Oh, what is happening? Hang on. Sorry, my screen did something weird. So let me get on my little rant of AI real quick. AI is never going to take over. It will help us. It will make us more productive. It will help us be more efficient. It may speed us up, but it is never, ever going to take over. And the reason that I say that is one of the AIs that we use, they pull out diagnoses and procedures all the time, but it's in discharge instructions. It is if you are experiencing XYZ, if you previously had this procedure done, and it's trying to code those things. It doesn't take into consideration where and what section those procedures and diagnoses are in. So there's always going to have to be a human element to make sure that what it is coding is truly what was done and not a sign or symptom to look out for, or a procedure that may have to be done or was done as a history, or things along those lines. So anybody that is telling you that AI is 100% going to take over has never been truly in the field and done it. That is just an opinion that they might have because of something that they've heard. But it will never take over. It will never completely replace us. I mean, it might in 100 years. We might be around then. Who knows? Probably not. It's going to be a whole nother generation. But for our day right now, it's never going to take over. It is not. No, it is nowhere near smart enough to do anything and replace us now. So Corey, I would take it. I have one in the odd month. So I had one yesterday. I had one in May, one in July, one in September, and then one in November. So I would take one of the later ones like July, September, November, if you are planning on graduating in December. Oh, okay. Kelowna. Okay. Yeah. I don't know that I ever like put 2 and 2 together that was, that was you. That's why I was even saying like yesterday, I'm sure you probably heard me and Shannon talk about it. I remember having conversations with people, but I don't remember what I've said to them or what we've talked about some days. So I apologize. Thanks for attending yesterday. I'm trying to get through your comments, but they keep shifting. Typing requirement. There's really not a whole lot of like truly typing. As long as you can just quickly enter in numbers, then that's the biggest thing that you've got to do. I mean, you'll have to be able to, communicate in emails and IMs and things like that. But I don't know that there's ever really been something that has said you have to type X amount of words per minute or anything along those lines. At least not that I have seen. You did the self-paced course. So did you do financing or did you pay in full? And what day did you make the actual purchase? Can you drop those comments below or that information below? You don't have to tell me like all kinds of stuff, but that's going to help answer when your book should be coming and when all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, Kelly, they use it. You all use it to read ultrasounds, and yeah, you have to fix it all the time. It's crazy. Yeah, everybody's using it to kind of like help make things and like sift through 1,000-page records a little bit quicker. But nobody's using it and not checking it. Okay, so Coco, you're studying for your CRC. Yeah. So everybody's going to be different as far as their time frames and what program you're going through. The average person, if you're doing like an AAPC course, the average is like 4 to 5 months. Some people can take that full entire year, but that average is 4 to 5 months. You registered last week under your legal first name, Brenda. Okay. So let me see, what day of the week did you do financing? You made the full payment early in March. Shoot me a message. Because if you did the full payment early in March and you have not heard anything, then we need to look into that for you because you should have gotten everything by now. So shoot me a message and we'll chat so that we can get to the bottom of that one. Planning in June. Yep. You're already CPC, so you're doing the CRC. Yeah. It's a good certification. I have the CRC. That's where I started. You paid in full. Hang on. Let me look. Because I know she processed registrations Thursday and Friday. So let me look here really quickly and make sure. If you want to shoot me a message as well, Michelle. Okay. Oh, Amanda, so you signed your Sweet Pay contract last Friday. So not 3 days ago, but last Friday. So you should, if you didn't get your registration on Friday, then you should get it on Monday. Because that Sweet Pay can add 5 days, 5 business days to it. You're having your baby Wednesday. That's exciting. Yeah, trying to get through chapter 9 before then. Yeah. I sent it to me directly yesterday. Or to Rachel. Hang on. What's your first name? Brittany, are you in the April start? So not this Thursday, but next Thursday? Can't believe it's already here. I can't believe next Thursday is April. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, if you much prefer ICD-10, then yeah, the CRC is a good option. Both. What's your first name? Camila. Oh, it was late last night. Okay. My internet was down last night. So anything that did not happen, well, and I was in boot camp in the first half of the day. So, yeah. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so Rachel will send our contact at AAPC since you're asking for the tracking information. She is going to send that to our contact at AAPC to get that tracking information on that new set of books that we had to send, because I know it was a little bit here and there. So yeah, she will hopefully get back with you tomorrow on that. Michelle. Okay, so you got your login information. AAPC, they used to send us tracking information for each individual student. However, I don't know if they've just stopped doing it because of like just efficiency issues or whatever, and like being able to process things. But if you don't receive your books, sorry, my throat is like, I had boot camp yesterday and I talked for 9 hours straight. If you don't receive your books by 10 business days, so essentially 2 weeks from the day that you got your enrollment email from Rachel, then let us know and we will request that tracking information for you. But it should typically only take, I mean, I think I've had some students say it comes in like 2 or 3 days. Some students say it's like 4 or 5. But just in case of like the weekends and processing times and all of that, then just give it about 2 weeks. If you don't have them by then, let us know. Not sure if it's okay, but what's the average pay for someone that does coding? That's going to completely depend on the area that you're in, the type of job that you're doing, all kinds of things. There is a salary out, like a salary calculator that is out on AAPC, or a salary survey. That's what it's called. Out on the AAPC website. Now, granted, it is a self-reported type thing for the salary. So if there's people that are not, that they're making less and they're not reporting it, then it's going to kind of skew the numbers a little bit. And there's really no verification on it. It's like I said, it's a completely self-reported. But the average, I would say for entry level, you're probably going to be anywhere between 18 and 25. Again, it's going to depend on location. It's going to depend on, if you're doing a specialty, if you're remote versus in office. It's going to depend on a lot of different factors. Okay, yeah. So Michelle, you're doing the self-paced. So yeah, I would just give it a couple more days. Yeah. Yeah, in Cali, your wages are going to be higher than what they are like for me here in Kentucky, because the cost of living is a lot higher out in California. So you're probably going to be more on that higher end, of that range. I mean, it could be that you're a lot higher than that. It all just completely depends. Yeah, you will get 2 separate packages. Yeah, so your 3 coding manuals, the ICD-10, the CPT, and the HCPCS. And then for some reason, they've been including the practical application workbook, which is the smaller one. This is going to be the one that is in your shipment with the 3 coding manuals. And then your actual textbook, which is somewhere over here in this disaster. your actual textbook, a lot thicker. This is going to come separately. I don't know why they are shipping them separately like that. I don't know. I don't ask questions. Way over my pay grade. It's totally fine. But they have been shipping them separately. So if you get your first package and not everything is in it, then don't worry. It is coming, I promise. The process for accommodations, like for an ADA accommodation, I have not personally ever done an application for an accommodation, so I don't know that I would be able to answer whatever question it is. I know that they do tell you 4 weeks turnaround time, but it is possible that it might come a little bit sooner, but it all just depends. Oh, Sean, all of yours came in one package. Okay. I don't know if they finally figured out what all of that was then. Vonnie, are you doing the billing and coding combo, like the dual course with us, with Legacy Education? Maddie, yeah, they just started doing this like a month ago. We don't know why. We don't know if they're coming from a different distribution center. We don't know. We don't know. All we know is we just had a student reach out one day at the beginning of, maybe it was like the middle of February. And they had said that they got everything but their training manual. And so we reached out and they said, oh yeah, it's coming separately. And ever since then, it's been 2 separate shipments and we don't know why. I don't know. I wish I could figure it all out. So Jackie, you're doing the CPB program and then doing the CPC. Are you doing the dual with them where it's all in one thing and then you just have the 2 separate courses? Is that what you're doing? Okay, Vonnie, so you're doing it through Legacy. The billing, couple months, like that 4 months or so, because we have, hang on, let me pull up the billing course. Hang on, I'm pulling up the billing course to see how many chapters are in it, because it's been a hot minute since I've looked at the actual like structure of them. So it has 14 chapters. So I would say 3-4 months. Yeah. Yeah, depending on how quickly you can kind of process the information. Okay, so Jackie, if you're not doing the dual course through AAPC, when you're done with your CPB and you're signing up to do the CPC, reach out and do our course. So our course is going to be cheaper. You're going to get a lot more. I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard, how long you've been listening to me rant and rave over it. But there, we have 20. So if you use the TRCC code, it's 2430. You get the course, your books, you get, and then again, since you've already got your 2024 or 2025 books, I don't know why I thought 24. If you've already got 2025 books because you're doing your CPB, then let us know when you place the order for the course that you want to do 2026 books instead. But it includes all the books, the textbook, the workbook. You get the course itself, obviously, as much coaching as you need. You get boot camp, you get book prep, you get, my brain is like, I'm totally like not in the normal space today. You get resume services, book prep, boot camp, practice exams, AAPC membership, 2 exam vouchers, Practicode, and then an internship. So all of that for at least $300 less than what AAPC is. So don't forget, check us out. Which exam are you taking? Are you doing the CPC or the CPB or the CPC or the CCS? You're doing the CCS. I'm assuming that's what that was supposed to be. If you're doing the CCS, unfortunately, I do not have a whole lot of advice whenever it comes to CCS because I've never sat for it. I've never taken it. But if you need help with like the CPT portion, okay, so you're doing CPC. Okay. So if you're doing CPC, watch the videos that I've done on YouTube. We have some study group sessions that are available from like previous ones. Go out there and watch those. There's a midterm and anatomy playlist. There's a lot of stuff out there on YouTube. Go out there and watch that. There's practice questions that are available on the website, which is medicalbillco.com/CPC. And then you'll go up to the resources page, but on there's a lot of resources. There's 10 questions per like section within the CPC exam from a coding standpoint, things like that. If you start the internship and then you get a job offer, no, you don't have to finish the internship. If you get a job offer, then yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and go with that. I would highly recommend that you take the job instead of doing the internship. Yeah. Someone with no medical background, would you suggest self-paced or instructor-led? Do you feel like you tend to be an independent learner where you don't ask a lot of questions? Or do you feel like when you are learning something new, you tend to want to have conversations and you want to ask questions and you want some feedback? Those types of things. That's going to kind of sway which way I go. Everybody's going to be totally different. Hey, Kimmy. How are you? I have 3 very quiet dogs, and that kind of concerns me. I see one just staring a hole through me in the living room. Through about this big of a space from where the hallway and my door meet. And all I see is just beady eyes just staring at me, but I don't know where the other 2 are. But the one that's quiet that worries me is the one that I can see, so I'm not worried. You finally got the rest of your books a couple days ago. Awesome. Hey, Kat. You don't like asking questions, but you tend to learn more from instructors than by yourself. Yeah, then absolutely. Go with the instructor-led. Worst case is you don't ask questions, and you like that interaction type thing versus you can always start out self-paced, and if you feel like you want to convert to the instructor-led, then you can definitely make that conversion. Good morning. I'm trying to look because I know the April class is oversold. May class, I don't really have a whole lot of enrollments yet for May. I mean, I have 3. I mean, it's still a good amount for it to be in a month and a half out. But yeah, if you are wanting to do self-paced, then not self-paced. If you are wanting to do instructor-led, the next date that I have open is May the 7th. And that is actually a class that I had to add because you all, you all completely overwhelmed, and which is a good thing, with all of the enrollments. So I did actually open up a class on Wednesday nights, starting May 7th. So hey, Jody. Brittany, you started working on 1 through 3. Yeah, starting chapter 4 this week. It's gonna get a little crazy. So buckle up. It's a good crazy, but it's gonna get a little crazy with chapter 4. Yes, if you do convert and you start out self-paced and then you convert, sorry, my nose is itching really bad. If you convert from self-paced to instructor-led, you do just have to pay that difference. Yeah. I wasn't really planning on doing anything today. I was even talking to my mom last night because we were talking about, me having that boot camp yesterday, and like it's exhausting. Like I know if I'm exhausted at the end of boot camp, then it's exhausting for the people that are going through it and trying to absorb all of that information. And so I was talking to her last night and she said, well, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, I ain't doing nothing. And here I am because I don't know how to do nothing. That is just me. Brittany, it's your flavor of crazy. I hear you. Maddie, I know. I have begged AAPC to just put, and they used to, years ago, they used to put their guidelines in single column instead of double column. But then they did it, I guess, because they wanted it to be a couple less pages, which to me makes no sense. But yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. If you book prep before starting all of the chapters, then yeah, absolutely. Yes, Christina, thanks for following. Thank you. I appreciate your support. You did the on-demand boot camp. Very helpful. Good. I'm glad. I know, Kat. We can't. Like, I'm so used to going from full-time job to teaching to doing all of the things and making sure that everybody's got, like, I haven't answered videos in 2 days and I feel terrible about it. And I need to. That's probably going to be on my list of things to do tomorrow. But, like, some days I have it, but I don't have it. Like, I don't have it to do anything, but I don't have it to not do anything. Brittany, book prep comes with both our self-paced and instructor-led courses. So you can do either one as long as you are a student of a CPC course with Legacy, again, self-paced or instructor-led, then yes, you can absolutely, or you do absolutely get the book prep included. Good, Christina. So do you have your exam date set yet? Or are you still just kind of finalizing and getting ready? There is book prep for ICD-10, but it's not like true book. It's the guidelines only for ICD-10. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, that's where our students tend to struggle the most is in the guidelines and determining sequencing and all of that because of what the guidelines state. But also your tabular of your ICD-10 is already a little overwhelming and that's just the natural layout of it. Like, for instance, like this is just a random page that I opened up to, right? You already have a ton of inclusion notes. You already have a lot of color coded things that's telling you 5th character, 7th character, whatever it might be, right? So your tabular already has everything in it that you need, okay? So that is the biggest thing that, why I don't do book prep for the tabular, okay? Just because I am one of those that if I write a lot of stuff into it, my brain gets overwhelmed, and I can't make sense of here, there, and everywhere type thing. So I only do guidelines for ICD-10 because, again, that's where we've had a lot of our students say, this is what I struggle with. Once they get back into the tabular, then they don't really struggle too much with like the comprehension of things. But if you start writing a lot of anatomy, if you start writing a whole lot of things in there, it can get very, very, very overwhelming, if that makes sense. CPT, I don't, even from a CPT standpoint, my book prep is not, it's very minimal, okay? It is very, I don't use like 7 or 8 colors because, again, more colors equals more distraction in my brain. So I keep it very minimal. There are some book preps that are out there that are a lot more involved. And if that's the way that your brain processes it, absolutely fantastic, great. But I've had a lot of people say that they started doing book prep in other areas or doing things in other ways, and it does get a little too much. So again, everybody's brain is going to process it differently. Yeah, Sean, it can get overwhelming while you are doing it, but once you understand it and you comprehend it, then the book prep really, really does end up like wrapping it all up together and almost kind of like a nice little tidy little bow. So like if anybody is on here that wants to just kind of have an idea of book prep, what just happened? Okay, sorry, my computer decided it wanted to go crazy. So this is an example of the CPT book prep. Very minimal, right? But you've got some guidelines that are pulled in. So like report these only one time. Put the fence around the family, so the parent codes and the children, so that we make sure that these kids don't go up here to this family and vice versa type thing. I made a video about it the other day, and I said, this guy doesn't even have a family. And somebody pointed that out, and it made me laugh. But yeah, so it just kind of helps organize your pages just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, and you don't have to do it by any means. Yeah. Page by page, it does take a while. That is why in like December and January, when everybody's like, when's 2025 coming? I'm like, guys, I promise it's coming. But I can guarantee you whenever I prep my book, because I put a lot of thought into what it is that I do in each book prep, it is not a quick process. So when I tell you I understand that it's a lot, then trust me, I understand that it's a lot. Hey, Tiffany, how are you? Since you're in live and I had a question about a number that I didn't. What do you mean, Kimmy? Like a homework question? Fanny. So we do not accept FAFSA for our program because we're not accredited. We are only AAPC licensed. So we are not a like federally accredited program that can accept FAFSA. Yeah. Thinking about doing one chapter at a time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's where a lot of our students tend to do it, is if they're studying for the integumentary system, they will do their book prep and then they will do the lectures and then they will do their assignments. Yeah, April, less is more in book prep. Absolutely. I am feeling better. Yeah, it's been a week. I think that's probably why it ended up taking it out of me for boot camp yesterday, is because I've been so like drained. Okay, so page 86. Oh, okay. I think I know which one you're talking about. Is it? Yep, 11036. It is 8.85. Yes, I need to update that page and get that scanned in a little bit more clearly. So let me write that down. Because if I don't, I'm going to go, I know there was a question about a page about something, and I don't know what page it was, and I don't know what code it was. 10036. The boot camp, April, that I did yesterday. No, you can't buy that one specifically, but you can purchase an on-demand boot camp that is a recording of another one that we just do. It's one of like the most clear ones that I have. I am going to work on getting it to where it's not a recording of a previous session, but the on-demand boot camp is able to be purchased by anybody. When you go out there, I think it's hang on, I don't trust my brain. Let me look at it because I think it's like 125. But let me look for sure before I commit to that number. Boot camp. On demand, yeah, on demand CPC boot camp is $125. The books do come with tabs, and the reason that I don't like them, because I personally think that they slow you down because you're not truly learning the layout of the book. You're looking for a tab that says whatever it is versus like immersing yourself into the book and like letting the book be your brain type thing. So if you are depending on that tab to find your cardiovascular section, you're not truly like remembering where it is in the book. You just know where your tab is, if that makes sense. Good morning, Jackie. How are you? I saw that you're doing that study group tomorrow. Let me know if you need anything to help out with that. Yeah, you're welcome. Absolutely. If I can give you some pointers or anything like that, feel free to like use those question sets that we have that we use for our normal like Wednesday night sessions. Feel free to, use those question sets if you want to. Yeah, Tiffany. So if you're in your head as to whether you want them or not, okay, here's my advice. Try them without, okay? If you feel like you need them, then don't buy permanent ones. And listen to me. Don't buy permanent ones. Because if you put them in there and then decide that you don't like them, you can't take them out, okay? So get the removable ones. Yes, exactly, DJ. So get the removable ones from like, you can get them at Walmart, Walgreens, Staples, whatever it is, the Post-it brand. They will remove from the book very easily, okay? So that way, if you decide that you don't like them, they may not be super pretty, but they don't have to be, right? As long as they're doing what you want them to do, then just do that. And then, like I said, once you learn the book and you learn the layout, then you might decide that you want to take them off. Okay, so that's my advice whenever it comes to tabs. If you don't know, even if you don't know, try cheap ones first, right? Handmade. And then if you don't like them, remove them. If you do like them, then you can make the decision whether or not you want to actually invest, because those things are not cheap. If you go out to Amazon or you buy them from some of the other people that are like on Etsy, I mean, they're like $50 per book. So they're definitely not cheap. So I don't want you to invest in them and then you not like them and then try to take them off and then you damage your pages. Kimmy, if you have questions, either one, reach out, send me an email, because Rachel will probably copy me into the email anyways. So just shoot me an email for sure. April, you can shoot me a message if you want. Yeah. They are removable. The ones that are from the book are removable. Now, AAPC, for some reason, so the CPC ones are really good. They're really removable, but they're flimsy, which is why people tend to get the ones that are a little bit more durable. But like I said, if you're just going to remove them anyways, it doesn't really matter. AAPC, they did not include tabs this year, and it was because of a publisher issue. They just didn't have everything done, and the tabs weren't done prior to them getting printed. So you will have to do like the Post-it ones for the ICD-10 CM. So, Mrs. Mason, if you are wanting to do our self-paced course with Legacy, you can start out with the self-paced course, and then if you decide that you want to do the instructor-led, then we can convert you and you can pay the difference. So it's not a once you do self-paced, you're stuck with it. Bye, April. Have a good day. No, Amy, I'm not saying that they're not worth the price. They definitely are. If you are one that needs tabs to function, absolutely. It is an investment because they're not just going to be like the $10 pack you can get at Walgreens again. But Like I said, if you don't know if you're wanting to, then wait until you decide that tabs are what you want to do before you do purchase those. Do you find that you need stoppers on the spirals on your books, or do they stay together well? I do not personally use stoppers. What I do is, if you guys can see this, let me try to get my hand back here so you can see it. I have bent this. Like, so I just bend this back on each other so that way it doesn't go through. So instead of adding another bulky thing to your book, like those little knitting needle stoppers, just do that. That way you're not spending extra money. You're not, having to have, XYZ together. You can just move it, bend it back. Christy, yeah, I use Select Coder at my job. Yep, do you have questions on it? So the instructor-led classes compared to self-paced, absolutely. So it's the exact same course, okay? So if you are doing self-paced, it is the exact same course that you're going to do with the instructor-led. The only difference in the instructor-led is you are getting 3 hours per week with me as your instructor to walk through scenarios, to answer questions, you get to ask questions when you're self-paced too, but like I said, you have that dedicated 3 hours per week. A lot of the sessions that we do, we go through scenarios, we dive into the books, we're hands-on, because most of the students, they would understand things while they're doing, like the interactive lectures and whatnot. But then whenever they went into the assignments, that's the word. Once they went into the assignments, they were lost. They were like, what do I look up? Why am I using this instead of this? So that's why we switched with the instructor-led. Instead of it being a true lecture type 3 hours, then we just do scenarios. We dive into all of the information. We, get you comfortable with the book and those types of things. Nat, how did your first week at Optum go? Yeah, the book bundle from AAPC. So you're doing the CPB and the CPC, Crystal? Yeah, it's not, it literally is another foreign language, because especially with like midterm and anatomy, you're learning Latin, right? You're learning Greek, you're learning all of those things. Yes, Kimmy. So there are sometimes that add-on codes are not going to be like part of a family. So an add-on code doesn't mean that it has to be included with a family. It just means it has to be reported with a family. So the families are going to be the parent codes and then the indented codes. Does that make sense? Yes, Suzu. So the self-paced course has assignments as well. Yes. Yep. Finding the modifiers on Select Coder, like underneath each one of the CPT codes. Is that what you're asking? So like if you have a CPT code, how can you find what modifiers are applicable to that code? Crystal, you'll just have to call AAPC. If you're going directly through them, call them and see if you can pay that difference. Again, because it's an AAPC course, it's not a course that like we can do anything with, but they should. I think I've heard of people doing that. Practicode is good knowledge. It doesn't actually count as on-the-job experience, but it does work for removing that apprenticeship, and it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. It's not perfect. Okay, I want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm saying that. It is not perfect. There are things that, need to be updated and fixed. And I personally have sent like 4 emails this week to AAPC with feedback and corrections that need to be made within Practicode. But they are working on getting it a little bit more accurate than what it currently is. But yes, Practicode is good to remove that apprenticeship. Nat, good. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad that the practice questions have been helping. ICD-10-CM is where I'm struggling, but yes, the related code option is helpful, but it seems limited. Yes, because what that related ICD-10-CM pulls from within Select Coder is typically going to be your NCDs and LCDs, where you have ICD-10 codes that are going to support medical necessity from a Medicare standpoint. So, and even whenever you pull up an NCD or an LCD, it's going to tell you that this is not an all-inclusive list, right? There are going to be exceptions to it, but it does at least give a good starting point. So yeah, hopefully that helps. What other questions you guys got? Sorry, I'm trying to look up something here real quick. You're welcome. Yeah, I use Select Coder at work. I use two. I use Select Coder and then I use 3M. So, how long can it take to prep the CPT? Forever. I feel like every time anybody asks me that, that's my answer. It's a time investment for sure. There are some students that can do it a little bit quicker. But if you are like me and you are a little bit of a perfectionist, it might take you a little bit longer. I would say, I don't know, one of these next year, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to clock how many true hours it takes me to do it. Because I know that it's at least 80 total hours. I don't know. I'm sure it probably is more than that, but I'm just kind of guesstimating because I don't just sit and do it all in one sitting type thing. So like I'll work on it for like 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there type thing. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think next year, whenever I do book prep, I'm going to actually clock it. So that way it can give people an idea of how long it takes. One of the things that I will say is I do everything as much as I can all at the same time. Meaning, and I go through the book multiple times, okay? So my first pass through the book, I use my pencil and I fence in all of the codes, okay? I do that from beginning to end. So that way I'm not picking up and doing things multiple times on each page. Cat, yes, 80. It takes a while. So do all of everything all at once. So do all of the fencing of all of the codes. Then do all of the highlighting of the parent codes. And then do all of the underlining the do not code parentheticals in red. It does save time because, like I said, you're not on one page picking up the pencil, putting down the pencil, picking up the highlighter, putting down the highlighter, picking up the red pen, putting down, picking up the blue pen, putting down, picking up the pink highlighter. So you're not on one page picking up multiple things. You can do multiple of everything all at once. Yeah, I know. When I first started doing it, that's how I originally did it, was each page all at once. And I realized there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a faster way than this insanity that I'm doing now. So yes, 100% try that. Or even if you're wanting to do it with each chapter, do all of the families in the integumentary, then do all of the parent codes in the integumentary, and just kind of like break it down section by section instead of feeling like you have to do the whole book all at once. I think for doing all of the parent codes, I could probably get through the entire book in like 2 or 3 hours if I really just sat down and didn't have every distraction in the world. But you could probably do all of the parent codes in like 2 or 3 hours. Not parent codes, all of the circles for the fences for the families. You can do all of that in 2 or 3. Then you could do all of the parent codes. Then you could do all of the red for the do not codes. Things along those lines. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other reason, Kimmy. I would pick up the blue instead of the red and underline something in blue when it should have been red, or vice versa. And then I got mad and frustrated, and then I put my pens down and walked away. Yeah. Is it possible, or is it multiple attempts on the course exams? What happens if you don't pass over 70? We can reset them for you. If you're a legacy student, we can reset those attempts for you, for sure. So Brittany, that will come. You'll get faster with time and more practice and confidence. When I first started, I was not fast either. Total transparency. I was probably slower than anybody else, you know, but, yeah, it just, the more you practice, the faster you will get. I promise. The more comfortable you'll get, the more confident you'll get. You're not going to second guess yourself with every tiny little detail. It will come. I promise. How do I box it if it carries over to the next page? Great question. Do you have an example? I mean, I can find one. There we go. So if it goes over to the next page, I just leave it open-ended, and I just put like a open-ended circle. And then on the top of the next page, same thing. I just leave it open at the top. I even do it on some of them. So like, let me find an example. Hang on. I have the perfect example, but I'm trying to remember what chapter it's in. Because like at the bottom of the page, or at the bottom of the column, it isn't a, here it is right here. It's not the one, but it is one. So like at the bottom of the column, I'm trying to figure out how to hold this. The bottom of the column, this doesn't have a parent code and a child code, but if you look, there's a parenthetical that refers to it at the top of the next column. So that way that's a visual reminder that, hey, something's at the top of that next column that I need to go look at. Brittany, do I think that tabbing helps? It can. Sometimes it can hinder. Everybody's brain's going to process the information differently. I am a proponent of trying to learn the books without the tabs, because you will learn the true layout of the books a little bit better. And then if you feel like you're still struggling, then you can tab. But I like to tell students don't tab immediately, because if you feel like the tabs get in your way, especially if you buy those like super durable ones that won't come off, you can't take them off. So try to learn the book without the tabs, and then if you feel like you need them, then you can put it on. Is it something that you can explain in the course about prepping? So if you're doing the live instructor, we don't actually talk about book prepping in class unless you have like a specific question. But you do get, if you're a legacy student, you do get book prep documents that are literally page by page of what to write and where. So that is something that is included in your course. So you're nervous about being slow for employers or the exam when you start out. Exam, let's talk about that for a second. It is imperative that you can do process of elimination for your exam. Okay. That is the only way you are going to get through 100 questions for your exam in that 4-hour time. Now, from an employer standpoint, no employer, at least no good reputable employer, is going to expect you to hit 100% production on day one. They are going to give you some type of a ramp up period, or a period where you can work into your production goals. Because there is a learning curve. Just because you did really well in a course, there are still a lot of differences between exam and course coding than real world or in the wild coding. Okay. So most of your employers, like I said, if it's a good employer, they are going to end up giving you a chance to work into that potential. Is it a good field to get into if you have no medical experience? Yeah, we have a lot of students at Legacy that are completely changing from, you know, I've had students that are teachers. I've had some students that have been in law enforcement. And it's going to take them a little bit longer to comprehend the material because they don't have some of that core knowledge already built up, but it is absolutely 100% doable. Sorry, my nose is itching so bad today. Yeah, prettier. I am one of those that I feel like tabs get in the way. Tabs slow you down because you're reading tabs, right? You're reading the side of your book and saying, where's cardio? Where's the tab that says radiology? Where's the tab that says whatever it is? Versus if you learn your book and you realize cardio is a 30,000 series code, it's going to be at the front. Eventually you'll remember, oh, it's the green section, right? The more that you do it and get in your book, you're going to speed up and you're going to know your book inside and out. Yeah, I've done auditing. I've done quite a bit of auditing in the past. Do you have like a specific, if you want to, so they're telling you to code a chart, but audit after you code the chart. I'm not sure what you mean by that. My brain is not wanting to make sense of that statement. Do you think it's smart to skip taking the CPC and go directly into the CCS? There's a lot of people that do it. Absolutely 100%. There's a lot of people that will do the CPC first because it is a little bit more straightforward. The CCS will introduce another code set that is the ICD-10 PCS. Me personally, my brain feels like it is in a blender anytime that I talk about ICD-10 PCS because it is insane. It is a hard code set. People that do it, I bow down to you because you all are amazing. But there are some people that can jump directly into it. There are some people that want to do professional coding and they want to do, the CPC and then jump into facility coding from an inpatient standpoint. Brittany, when you're doing the chapter review exams, yeah, absolutely. Start practicing your process of elimination during your chapter review exams for the course. Is the market inundated with coders looking for jobs? You keep seeing a lot of that. Kat can probably back me up if she's still on here. I'm trying to answer this question very, very carefully. No, I do not think the job market is saturated. Do I feel like there are a lot of people out there that have coding certifications that could potentially be qualified for jobs that are not getting jobs? Yes. But do I also feel like there are a lot of people out there that have certifications that are not true coding certifications, or they have a certification and they were a good test taker and they don't know how to pass a pre-employment exam? That is going to be where a lot of those negativity comments are coming about how it's hard to find a job. Another thing is your resumes. Nobody's going to get a job or even be able to get an interview if you have a poorly constructed resume. Right now, when you submit a resume, AI looks over that resume before you even get to a person. So if you have a resume that is not structured very well, that is going to hinder it as well. So it's a very large combination of multiple things that can cause people to be certified and not be able to get a job. Again, do I feel like there are people out there that are very qualified and are having a hard time? Yes. Do I feel like it is because the market is oversaturated? No. That's a very, trying to think of how, it's a very simply put statement. I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form, I know that if I were to be forced to look for a job, I would probably have to look for a little bit, and that's totally fine. But there are people that are retiring every single day, just like any industry. in the moment. And so people are retiring, and there are positions that are open. Every day at my job, there are positions every single day that emails are being sent out saying, this position is open, this position is open. So I promise you, it's not oversaturated. It just may be in one way or another, something is not getting them through to that hiring process, if that makes sense. Melissa, you can do it either during the course or after. Everybody's going to be different. There's going to be some people, and I've even had some students that during the course they have done no book prep, and then they use it afterwards to kind of like refresh and review and pull it all together. Everybody's going to be different. Okay, so he's actually teaching you to audit. So he made an auditing chart for you and then wants you to use the audit sheet for what we coded on your own. So usually you don't audit your own chart. So that's why that's weird. Now, if he gave you charts that he if he gave you charts that like he had coded and then you have to audit it, that would make sense. Hang on, I'm looking. Brittany, hang on, Brittany. Oh, you had 5 minutes left and you had 5 questions. Did you pass? Did you pass your certification? Yeah, Kat's got some really good resources. So anybody that needs resources, definitely reach out to Kat and look at her website. She's got some great stuff out there. Okay, so you did get an 80. Right now, Legacy does not offer anything for CPC. Or sorry, we do offer CPC. We do not offer anything for CCS. So the PCS, we do not offer that. We are not certified AHEMA. And quite frankly, I don't know that my brain will ever want to be certified for AHEMA. We are looking for someone that is AHEMA certified, that is qualified to be an instructor. So we may potentially be doing it in the future, but we have not found anyone that we feel like fits with us, and they have the qualifications. So just keep an eye out in case we are able to do that. Can you do hospital coding with CPC? You can do the professional services for hospital coding, but you more than likely cannot do inpatient facility with a CPC. So your fear is AI. AI is never going to take over. AI will help us. AI will supplement it, but they will never take over. There's always going to be a human element to coding that AI is never going to completely eliminate. What does it mean when AAPC says unlimited testing bundle? I'm going to try to answer this without getting in trouble. It means that you can take the exam if you need to 15 times and it's not going to cost you anything extra. That's what that means. Now, whether or not you need to take it 15 times is a totally different story. They do not have a super high pass rate as far as a first or second time. But if you go through a course like Legacy, we quote unquote only offer 2 exam vouchers. However, 90% of our students pass the first time. And then after that, 95% pass on the second time. Okay. So it's all in the education and how you approach it and the support that you're able to get as to whether or not you feel like you are going to get your money's worth with that unlimited testing bundle. Yeah, Kat. Yeah, the market is not oversaturated, but you do have to strategize and get experience for sure. When you pass the CCS, do you have an A attached like you do the CPC? No, the CCS does not have any type of apprenticeship. Yeah, I'm 100% with Kat. Employers do love to hire CPCAs because they do not have to untrain bad habits. As simply put as that is. Humana does a whole lot. I've seen a lot of hiring out there for CPCAs. They have a couple different departments that they do. Judge Group and CSI are doing a whole lot of CPCA hiring for their HCC projects and things along those lines. So there are plenty of people out there that will hire for the CPCAs. It may not say in the job application that CPCA is accepted, but I tell people, apply anyway. Apply, because they may not get somebody that hits every other piece of, they may not hit any other, what's the word I'm trying to think of, criteria, right? And if the only thing that you don't meet is CPC versus CPCA, they may end up going down the list and saying she may have her only CPCA, but everything else on her resume looks freaking fantastic. We're going to take a chance on her, right? So apply. Let them tell you no. Do not tell yourself no. That is the biggest thing. It is an automatic no if you don't apply. I know it is disheartening when you tend to get those emails over and over again saying you were not selected, but do not take them personally. Apply, because you never know who is going to be willing to take the chance on you. So DJK, that's our pass rate for both instructor-led and self-paced. Yeah, those entry-level jobs like billing denials, things like that. I will tell you, so like I did, here's a little bit of my background for anybody that doesn't know, okay? I've been certified since 2007. It took me a little bit to find my first job. So trust me, when I tell you guys that I've been in your shoes, I have been in your shoes from a learning perspective. I have been in your shoes from a job, like looking from a job perspective. Okay. So it took me about, and I wasn't really, to be totally honest, I was not applying the way that I should have. Okay. So it took me about a year to find my first job. Okay. It was a contract job. It was 6 months out of the year. So I literally would work 6 months, be laid off for 6 months, work 6 months, be laid off for 6 months. Eventually, I needed more. So I ended up finding a large insurance payer that is where I'm at. And I got a job that was not a coding job because I took a quote unquote entry level job into the company because I knew that they hired their coders from within. So, when you have to take a job that is not a coding job, that is not saying that I am devaluing myself. It's saying I'm investing in my future. I am investing in the next 15, 20 years of my life, and I may have to take a not coding job for a couple of years in order to get to where I want to be. I have now been with my company for 15 years. So, that 2 or 3 years that I did in a quote unquote not coding job, I still used codes. I still learned all of the systems so that when a coding job came available that I felt was a good fit for me, then I had all of the systems experience. I had the coding experience. I had everything to back me up. And I went into that job knowing how to use the systems, and it made me into the coder that I am today. So when you take a job that is not a coding job, that is not devaluing yourself, that is not saying your certification is worthless, that is just saying I'm thinking at the long game and I am not just thinking about today. So that is my biggest piece of advice. Hang on, let me get back to the questions that I know. Do we have a program that helps make it easier in real life? There's never going to be a program that is going to 100% prepare you for real world coding. As much as people can promise you that it's going to, there is nothing that is going to prepare you for the insanity of every individual insurance payer that is out there, that is going to prepare you for Medicare versus Medicaid, all of the internal policies that you are going to run into for your employer. But we do have a program for the internship that does give simulated real world experience. Okay. So that's the difference, is it's simulated, but again, we are not able to make it to where you are 100% prepared, if that makes sense. You're struggling to pass the final exam. First attempt, you got a 68, then you got a 63. Are you reviewing all of your answers and then looking at your rationale, making sense of your rationale, absorbing what it is that you could have done differently in order to, like, that's the biggest thing with the final exam is, and the certification exam too, is you're literally shoving 3 books of information into 4 hours and 100 questions. So it's just one of those things that look at those rationales, review those, read those, absorb those, and then try to kind of learn from where, like, if you chose the wrong code, you may not have that exact same question that shows up, but you're going to be able to apply that knowledge of why we should have used XYZ on another one. And make sure that you're right at the right indentation. Make sure you're choosing the correct 7th character for lateralities, or even the 4th or 5th, whichever one it is. Just make sure that you are confident. Go back through if you need to, and do any of your assignments that you have attempts left on. See if there's any of those left and do those. Watch YouTube videos. That's going to be a huge help as well. Yeah, you know something. It's just a matter of whether we can apply that knowledge, right? And it's a matter of, if we need to absorb more, how can we get our brain to open up and absorb more? Find a different way. If you are only reading, look at videos. If you're only looking at videos, see if reading might help comprehend, some things differently. Everybody's going to have days where, I have some days where I can listen to a video and I can comprehend it. I have days where I'm listening to a video and I zone out and I have no idea what I just listened to. Versus I have days where I can read and I can figure out what I'm supposed to do. And I have days where I have to read the same paragraph 8 times. So everybody's just going to be completely different in how they absorb the information. So 100% just keep practicing. That is my biggest piece of advice, is practice is going to make you more confident. It's going to make you more comfortable, and it's going to make you be able to choose those codes a little bit easier. Yeah, Brittany. So I have videos out there on YouTube. It's the study sessions, the study group playlist. We go through not only process of elimination, but we also go through how to use your book in some of those videos as well. You want to use the resume writer, the one that we use. Her name is Sarah Reagan with Caffeinated Career Creations. If you go to the link in my bio, then it'll take you to her Facebook page. Be careful with Pocket Prep. There's a lot of questions on Pocket Prep that are outdated. Not saying to but just make sure that whatever you are getting incorrect is truly incorrect. Do your research. There are, like I said, I've had some people bring questions that Pocket Prep, it was correct 5 years ago, but they never updated it. So just keep that in mind. Just be cautious of the sources that you're using. That's my only advice. Or I guess the biggest piece of advice whenever it comes to that. Is there jobs if I study one category of aid? So like a specialty, Sophie, is that what you're saying? Yeah, absolutely. There are, the oncologists, they might look for the hematology and oncology certification. If you're doing a, I can't even think of some, evaluation and management. If you're going to work for a family provider, like a family practitioner, They might look for an E&M certification, things along those lines. So yeah, there's absolutely jobs that are out there that will go with those specialty certifications. Yep. You don't have to memorize your guidelines. So the biggest thing is just become familiar with the type of information that's in there. You may not remember your guideline tells you to use a specific code for something, but you might remember that your guideline has something in there about if you are diabetic and you're using long-term insulin. You may not remember it's Z79.4, but you're going to know, hey, there's a guideline. I need to go look at that. So if you are one that, because trust me, I know it's not a New York Times bestseller reading. It is not riveting information to read, guys. I understand that. If you are wanting something to help you get through those ICD-10 guidelines, then I do have a YouTube channel out there a playlist on our YouTube channel for the ICD-10 CM guidelines that walk through every single section, all of section 1. So you've got your conventions, you've got your general coding guidelines, and then you've got each individual chapter specific guideline broken down. I think it's like a total of like 20 something videos. So go out there and listen to those. I know, again, when you're in the car, you don't want to think coding, right? But listen to that while you're waiting to pick up your kids from school, while you're driving to your doctor's appointment, all of those things. Because it may be that if you hear it audibly, you're going to hear that in your head when you're in your exam. Oh yeah, there was something that they said about the guideline for, whatever type thing. How can you find questions to focus more on multiple code selection with modifiers included? Have you looked at the free questions that we have out there on the medicalbillcode.com website? There's a lot of questions in each one of those that have multiple codes. And then if you listen to the study group session that correlates with each one of those sections, then we go through process of elimination on those. Especially, what was this last chapter that we just did? Radiology, I think, is what we just did. Go to the radiology questions and then go to the YouTube study group video for radiology. And the last 4 questions, at least, we did process of elimination when there were multiple modifiers or there were multiple answers within a code. Yeah, that medical term book by Betsy Shyland is amazing. I love it. I keep it here on my desk. I keep it right here. This book is amazing. I still refer to this a lot. Like if it's a specific like anatomy thing from like an instructor standpoint, that book is amazing. I love it. By all means, I know I do not know everything, believe it or not. I will be the first to admit there's a lot that I know and there's a lot that I don't know. So yeah, it's one of those things that it's a lot of information, and I'm still learning. I'm still absorbing things. No, you can't use that book on the exam. You can just use those 3 coding manuals. So your ICD-10-CM, your CPT, and your HCPCS. We got an Amazon package coming, and the dogs are going to end up losing their minds here in a couple minutes. So, fair warning. Any other questions you guys got? No, you can use one previous year. So yeah, if you want to use 2025 for ICD-10 and CPT and then the HCPCS, because honestly you have like 3 questions on the entire exam, and there's really not a whole lot that has changed in HCPCS. Yeah, you can absolutely use the previous year for that. So, Sophie, do I recommend AAPC or other schools? So, AAPC has really good information from a education standpoint, which is why, like at Legacy, we actually license that information. So if you go through the course at Legacy, again, you're getting the AAPC course. You're just getting a whole lot of extra things with it for a less price. So the AAPC course right now, let me look. I think it is still like their lowest package, which only includes the exam or the course and 1 year of an exam. It doesn't even include the exam vouchers. Yes. So the self-paced online course, you get 1 year of the membership, no exam vouchers, and then code lookup assistance, which honestly is not that good. It's not even Codify. All of that is $27.99. Okay, just those three things. With Legacy for $2,700, or if you use code TRCC, you get 10% off, which takes it down to $2,430. With Legacy, you get the course, you get your coding manuals, you get your textbook and your workbook, you get coaching, you get book prep, you get your AAPC membership, you get 2 exam vouchers, resume services, Practicode, boot camp, and a internship. So all of that for at least like $370 less than AAPC directly. So this was asked, but once I'm done with CPC and ready for CPB, do you need new coding books? No. If you do your CPC, you're doing it this year, so you're going to have 2025 books, right? If you do your CPB, even if you do it next year, then your 2025 books will still be, you can still use them, because with AAPC exams, you are allowed to use current year or one previous year. Are the self-paced students allowed to join in the study group? Yeah, absolutely. You don't even have to be a student of Legacy. Now, I have not announced this on here. I did announce it at the end of one of the study groups. I am not doing any Wednesday night study groups after April the 16th. April the 16th is the very last study group that I'm going to do from a live standpoint. All of the replays are going to be available. I did have to make a decision to discontinue the study groups because there were some things that happened at the beginning of the year. We're just going to leave it at that. And dealing with the stress of locking down the security of the study groups so that I could get through the study group for the year. And then since our student base has grown a lot with Legacy, I haven't been able to manage pulling things here and there and everywhere and making sure that everybody gets the appropriate amount of attention. So as of April the 16th, that will be the very last CPC study group that is offered on a Wednesday night. Again, the recordings will always be available. I will potentially hold one every year. So like I'll do one next year in 2026 with 2026 updates. And then the replays will be available all year. But yes, as of right now, until April 16th, anybody can join. Sorry, I know I kind of like answer that in a very long way. Can I sit for the CPB after taking the CPC if the course is for billing and coding with Coding Focus? Yeah. You might have to, if you're not doing the actual like CPB course through AAPC, I would recommend at least doing the study guide and then your practice exams. But yeah, you can absolutely sit for the billing exam if you wanted. Can you possibly explain a little bit on how to use external cause codes? So trying to find the codes. Oh, external cause codes are hard. The index stresses me out. I'm not going to lie. I don't use them too much in my current role. And I haven't really used them from a reporting standpoint hardly ever, besides like an education standpoint, just because I've never been in an environment where they've really done anything. External cause codes, you have 5 different types. Okay, so let's talk about this very, very quickly. External cause codes, you have 5 different types. You have the cause of the accident. You have the intent of the accident, so whether it was accidental or whether it was intentional. You have the place of occurrence. You have the activity, and then you have the status. Okay, those are the 5 different types of external cause codes. I'm surprised that I remembered those off the top of my head, and I did not have to look at my book. So those are the 5 different types: cause, intent, activity, place, status. Okay, that will usually help you break down where your main term is. Okay, intent. If it was a car accident, then we know that it's an accident. So we're going to go main term accident. Car is a transport vehicle. We have to know whether they were the passenger or the driver, things along those lines. Okay, so that's going to kind of send you down the path of the incident or the intent. Then you might have they fell down the stairs and broke their arm, right? So that's going to be a fall. It's your main term. If they did it at home, then it's going to be place of occurrence, house. If they did it at work, place of occurrence, work, those types of things. So just remember those 5 things: cause, intent, activity, place, status. See, it's not something that is like, I have to sit and think on it too. Wanda, the replays are going to be on YouTube. So if you go to the link in my bio, then it gives the exact link, or you can just go directly to YouTube and search for medical coding with legacy education. Kimmy, our students, the average is 4 to 5 months for legacy. How many people do I have on? Hang on. 33. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at something, but I can't look at it and have my camera not block at the same time. Oh, there we go. I got it. I got it figured out. No, that is just the CPC course. So if you're wanting to do the med term on top of that, then the average for the med term fundamentals course is about 2 months. Which, speaking of, I need to look at something. Sandra, the cost of our course, if you do the self-paced CPC course, it is $2,700. That includes the course itself. It includes the textbook and the workbook, hard copies. It includes all 3 coding manuals, the ICD-10, CM, CPT, and HCPCS, all 3, again, hard copies. It includes coaching. It includes book prep. It includes a boot camp at the end of your course so that it kind of ties everything together. And then you get 1 year of the AAPC membership. You get 2 exam vouchers. After you have gotten certified, then you get enrolled into Practicode, and that will remove the apprenticeship from your program or from your certification. And then after you've completed the Practicode and removed the apprenticeship, then you can get enrolled into the internship, and that will actually count as on-the-job experience. So Legacy Education actually has a billing and coding side of the company as well, which is what makes us unique. Then since we have a billing and coding side of the company, afterwards we can absolutely like enroll you in that internship, and you can get on the job experience. So yeah, when I tried to make the comparison between AAPC, all of that we have is $2,700. If you use code TRCC, it's down to $2,430 because it takes 10% off. Now, if you take that 10% off and okay, hang on, there we go. If you take that off, it takes it down to $2,430. The lowest course with AAPC is $2,799, and all they include in that is the course and 1 year of your membership. You have to purchase your books on top of it. You have to do Practicode on top of it. You have to do your exam vouchers on top of it. Like, it's going to end up costing a whole heck of a lot more. Yeah. Kimmy, I'm glad that they help. Prettier. Did you go to like an actual college? Is that why it costs that much? Are you asking about would I suggest the self-paced versus the instructor-led? Is that what you're asking? How long do you get to complete the course? 12 months. So the way that we do it as well is we don't enroll everything in day one. So you don't have 12 months to do everything from beginning to end like you would if you were to go through other courses or through AAPC. With us, you get 12 months to do the course. Once you're done with the course within that 12 months, we will then activate your membership and your AAPC voucher. And then you get 12 months for that from that start date. So it's not 12 months from the very beginning. So if it takes you 10 months to get through the course, because let's just say life happens, right? If it takes you 10 months to get through the course, then let's say you signed up in January. I'm going to use these as just like very easy numbers. You signed up in January, you finished the course in October, right? That's within your 12 months. In October, you're like, hey, I'm ready to take the exam, activate my membership and my exam voucher. You get 1 year, so you will get until next October to at least use one of those attempts. Okay. Then after that, your exam attempt resets for another year if you do not pass on the first try. And then from there, after you're certified, then your 18 months for Practicode starts. Once you finish Practicode, then your 1 year. Your 1 year for the internship starts at that point. Yes, it is all online. Yep. Hey, Suzanne, I didn't even see you hop on. Not with Legacy, Kimmy. If you enrolled with Legacy, we don't activate your membership until you're ready to sit for the exam, because while you're a student, you're not getting any benefits whatsoever from your membership. Yeah, if you do need an additional attempt, Jess, then that would be out of pocket for you. We do include 2 vouchers, but I will be honest, in the 2.5 years that we've been doing this with Legacy, we maybe have had 2 students that have needed additional attempts. Everybody else passes first or second attempt. Oh, you're welcome, Brittany. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Yasmin. So let me look, because I know Yasmin just hopped on. And Suzanne, you were on yesterday too, right? Yeah, you were in boot camp yesterday. Oh my gosh, my brain. I lost internet yesterday, as you guys know, at the very end, and it just came back up like this morning, or at least in the middle of the night. It was back up this morning. So I have gotten the boot camp loaded into YouTube. It says that it is processing, but it has given me a link. So I don't know if it's going to let you guys replay it if you... Yep. Okay. So I'm going to send out the link here in just a couple of minutes, Suzanne and Yasmin, from the boot camp for yesterday, for those that attended, if anybody else is still on. Yeah, it's working and it's playing. So I will get that. I'll get that sent out here in a little bit. How easy is it to get help during the course? You will send an email, okay? If it's something that is not easily explainable in an email, then we can schedule a Zoom meeting. Or if you want to skip the email and schedule a Zoom meeting, you just let us know what it is that you're struggling with so that we can be prepared whenever we meet. Then we answer emails within 24 hours. And then if you need to schedule that Zoom meeting, then there's usually a fairly amount of sessions that are available for coaching if you need it. Yeah, Letty, it's TRCC, and it takes 10% off. Is medical term and A&P required? It is not required, but it is highly recommended. If you don't have previous knowledge of med term and anatomy, it is highly recommended so that you're not listening to us, listening to the lectures and doing questions and all of that. And it literally is sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher because you have no idea what's going on. But if you have that previous experience, then it's totally fine. You don't have to show proof of experience or a course or anything like that. It's kind of on an honor system. But just know that if you skip it and you don't have it, then it is going to make it a little bit more difficult and frustrating to pick it up. Yes, all of the coaching is included and it's limited. So whenever you sign up with Legacy, the only thing that you would ever have to pay for on top of Legacy, like the $2,700 or the $2,430 if you were to use the discount code, the only thing that you would ever have to pay for on top of is if you wanted additional AAPC practice exams, or if you want a study guide or anything that is an official AAPC like boot camp or anything along those lines. Wanda, the code is for the discount code if you were to purchase anything on our Legacy Education website. So a course, a study guide, a practice exam, book prep, anything like that. So that TRCC code, that takes 10% off of anything, including all of the courses. Nope, Sophie, it is not assigned with different states. So Legacy Education has a billing and coding side of the company. So your internship is going to be with them. Or with us, I guess, is the best way to put it, yeah. So if you purchase the practice exam what will happen is you will place your order for the practice exam. We have to place the order with AAPC basically on your behalf for that practice exam. So it can take 24 business hours for it to show up, but it does eventually show up in your back office in AAPC in your account. You'll just go to the courses and exams tab, and then it's all the way down at the bottom underneath your practice exams section. Our success rate on students getting certified is 90% do get certified on the first try. And then those that have to take it a second time, overall it increases to 95%. But like I said, we have had over like the last 2.5 years, we've only had maybe 2 or 3 students that have had to take it more than twice. Most of your jobs are going to require a certification. Yeah, not saying every single job out there. There are going to be the unicorns that are out there that do not require a certification. But yes, most of your jobs out there are going to require a certification. So Tasha, if you do a Legacy Education CPC course, self-paced, instructor-led, dual, anything like that, then all of those book prep notes are included in the course. Yeah, no, Carrie, if you want to sign up for May, absolutely go ahead and sign up and reserve your spot for May. It depends on, everything. I've had some classes fill up like a month and a half prior to start dates, and I've had some classes that I've had seats left open like that week and people enroll. So if you know you want to do the May start date, then absolutely 100% go ahead and get in there. So that way there's not a big rush for enrollment and then you miss out. So if you know you're wanting to do the May start date, absolutely go out and enroll. And I totally lied because I said the dogs were going to go crazy when Amazon showed up. And they didn't make a peep. They didn't even hear. Amazon must have been stealthy this time because I just got a notification that it was delivered and nobody made a noise. So, being signed up for self-paced, where do you find the book prep notes? So, go out and look for that initial enrollment email, Brittany, from Rachel, whenever you initially got enrolled. All the way down at the bottom is where the link is for the book prep. If for some reason you cannot locate that book, or not that book, if you cannot locate that email, or I know there were some emails that somehow that link got left off, then shoot me an email or a message and we'll get that link over to you. Suzanne, good puppies. I'm telling you, this is the only time that they've ever acted that way. So I'm very impressed. But also, I gave the one that had all of the teeth extracted, I gave her pain med. So she's dead to the world right now. Brittany, I don't do my own nails. I actually have a place that I go. It's my go-to girl. So, yeah. Hey, Red, what kind of question you got? Ashley, you signed up Thursday. Exciting. Enjoy the next couple of days before the insanity hits. That's what I like to tell people. Everybody's like, but I'm so excited to get started. And I just want to say, you're going to wish that you had some sanity left. So enjoy your last couple of days before the craziness hits. Suzanne says truth. Suzanne, I'm telling you, girl, every time that I talk to you during class and you're like, but my daughter did this and she's got other, games and stuff. I'm like, I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you did it. Kudos to you. I'm proud of you. So you did a billing and coding course and you need a refresher to do the certification exam. Boot camp is a really good option. I actually just held one yesterday. So the next one is not going to be until May. I think it's the 31st. But if you need one before the 31st of May, then we do have an on-demand version that is available that you can listen to at your own pace, at your own time. It just sends you a recording and you can go through. Yeah, Suzanne, I think we're all so proud of you. Like, I know that, I'm so proud of all of my students. It's one of those things that if you guys don't succeed, I don't succeed. So I am just as invested in you all as you all are in yourself. Some people I'm able to talk to about it a little bit more because I might converse with them a little bit more. But if you are if you're a self-paced student, trust me, when I tell you that I see your enrollment emails come through, I don't know that I've ever seen an enrollment email come through and I don't have like a couple seconds of just pure excitement for you guys. Because I know that I've been there, right? I have studied, I have in some areas taught myself. I've done all of the things that you guys are doing, and I know that even though it's exhausting, it is a roller coaster of a ride that is about to come, and it's going to be worth it for sure. No, Sophie, don't apologize for questions. So it's going to completely depend on where you work as to whether you're going to use books or if you're going to use like an encoder software, or if you're going to have some system within your job that is going to help you select the codes. So encoder softwares are going to be like Select Coder, Encoder Pro, 3M, things along those lines. So there's some jobs that will do the Encoder Pros versus hard copy books. I am a very hard copy person. I have always been a very hard copy person. If I read a book for enjoyment, not like I have the time, but if I read a book for enjoyment, I want a hard copy. So I have always been I need the book, I need to touch the book type person. But I do have an encoder at work. Do I use it like every single day? No. Do I use it whenever I'm trying to do a lot of research? Yes. But if I am just trying to select a code, I go to my hard copy books. So it is all going to depend on kind of like your like style of learning and things like that. Okay, so Melinda, you are wanting to know about supplies as far as pens and highlighters and stuff. Now, this is what I personally prep my book with. This is my bag of pens that my husband knows do not touch or I will break your fingers. Okay. So this is my book, or this is my bag of pens that I use. The ones for prepping your manuals. These here, these are called Pigma Micron. They are scrapbooking pens. Okay. These pens are amazing. They do not bleed. They dry very quickly. They do not fade. They do not, they don't smear, anything like that. They're not dollar store pens. They're not super expensive, but I like to tell people like, it's not something that you're just going to spend like $3. They are like $3.99 a piece at Michael's. Yes. Red. They are $3.99 a piece at Michael's, but Michael's does tend to run specials and coupons. I think right now they're doing like a 40% like coupon off or something like that, or if you do so much or whatever. I just have one down the street, so I just go in and do that. But if you do it online, they can ship anywhere. So I use 3 different colors. I use orange, red, and blue. The red and the orange, I get 0.5 because it is a thicker tip. Okay, so it's going to make it more bold. Whereas the 0.1 for the blue, this is what I write in. And since I don't like thick-tipped pens to write, I use the 0.1 for any of the words that I write. And then the 0.5 for the ones that I use for underlining. And then trust me, I'm telling you guys, I have found what bleeds, what does not bleed, what smears, what does not smear. The general Sharpie highlighter smear guard. Don't use any other color. Any other color will bleed, but the yellow does not, and it dries fairly quickly. So this one, I have like a whole box of them back. Oh, you can't see it today. There's like a whole bookshelf back there. But I have a whole box of these because this is the only Sharpie highlighter that does not bleed. And then I use a mechanical pencil, just cheapo mechanical pencil. I probably bought a pack of mechanical pencils like 10 years ago and I'm still going through it. And then I have not been able to find these in a hot minute, but I believe Crayola has highlighters that doesn't have like the dual end on it. And the Take Note, Crayola Take Note is the one that the highlighter is really good that it doesn't bleed. So those, as far as like prepping your books, those are the best pens that I have found that do not smear, they don't budge, they don't bleed, they don't, anything along those lines. Yeah, Suzanne and DJ, you can find them on Amazon. I am also one of those that I don't like to have a bunch of extra colors of things that I'm not using because it's just, I'm very particular in what I will use and what I don't use. And so, but yeah, so if you want to just buy a pack and you want to have those extra left over, absolutely look on Amazon. Yeah, Bible highlighters, from what I've heard, they do not smear. Okay, so yeah, Suzanne says the highlighters from Mr. Ink. I do have, hang on. Oh, there's 2 dogs right there. I do have, and I have to find them. gotten stuck on the vacuum. Here we go. I do have somewhere in this disaster is it these, the gel highlighters? Is that what you're talking about, Suzanne? I tried using these and I wasn't a big fan of the gel because the tip of it wasn't super sharp all the time. And I can't even figure out how to get this one to turn or twist. There is a twistable out. There we go. It's just a little bit harder. Okay, so it's actual like liquid. So yeah, I wouldn't want to sit here and mess with this all day either. There we go. Yeah. I mean, like, I like how they write, but I don't feel like that would, I don't know. Pastel and square. I might have to look for those. You bought a book stand for your desk? Do y'all want to see what disaster my desk is? This is my desk. Okay. Fair warning. This is sorry. I hit the button. This is insane. So let me show you guys the absolute disaster of, I don't know where I would even put a book holder. Okay. Like when I tell you there's everything sitting on my desk and you guys do not see half of it, this is insanity. I cleaned it off and then like 2 days later, it goes right back to this. Like 2 days ago, I moved all of this stuff up here and then now it's all back down here. So book holders are good. But I know that I am not one that would ever keep anything on the book holder. So. The yellow one is less brighter than the Sharpie. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the other reason that I don't really like it is because they're not super bright. Like, even this pink one. Like, this pink one looks like it would be nice and, like, but it's really not. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I would like that sitting. I don't even know if we were to put it on a page, if it would smear. Let's test it. So I'm just going to use, just see how it's got that glossy on it. Let's test it. Let's see how it would do. Oh. Ooh. It smears. Like, and it doesn't ever really dry. Like, I could wipe it off if I wanted to. Yeah, I won't be using those. I'll try I'll need to look and find the actual Bible highlighters. It's wax. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, I don't even, yeah, it's not even drying on this paper that I did it on a couple of minutes ago. Ugh. Oh, that's a texture nightmare. That is not a fun texture. Just like the hand sanitizer that I just got out that had dried in the tip. So now it's all chunky. What pens do I use? Okay, yep, give me just a second. Let me get this hand sanitizer. See, now it's all... That's the one thing I hate about like the moisturizing hand sanitizers is they get that little clumpy part in the tip. DJ, we're not even going to talk about the desk because I know it's bad. It's bad. So this is the pen that I use. It is Pigma Micron. It is a scrapbooking pen. You see it even says archival ink. So it does not smear. It does not bleed. It does not fade. It doesn't budge. Once it's on there, it takes like a half a second to dry. Yeah. Yeah. Vanessa, the tip always changes. That's what I noticed in that one little spot that I did. Like, I don't know if you got, can I get it to focus? Yeah, like it moves. Yeah, it's a nightmare for me. So Miss LJ, I just completed a 1-year self-paced with Career Step. took the exam, failed 50 and 60. Have you done practice exams? Have you watched the study group sessions that I have out on YouTube? I have a ton of stuff out on YouTube. There's an ICD-10 CM playlist. There is, hang on, let me go out and look so I can tell you all exactly what's out there. I have an ICD-10 playlist. I have a study group playlist. We have multiple study group playlists that are out there. I've got TikTok live replays that are out there. There's a lot of stuff out there on YouTube. I'm going to try to start working on like a CPT series and like touch on the super like crazy topics in CPT and get some questions and things out there. Or Jennifer, are you talking about the pins to link in the showcase? I had some of them linked in the showcase before, but then that seller stopped selling them. So I'll have to go back out and see if I can find another one. The Sarasa dry pins. Where do you get those? How do you become an auditor? Most places that are wanting you to do auditing want you to have some experience. They want you to have a pretty solid experience, usually 5 years. That's kind of the suggestion that AAPC gives as well, is having 3 to 5 years before you do auditing, so that, because if you think about it, how are you going to audit something that you have never done yourself, right? So they want to make sure that you have, hang on, I just got a notification that there's some storms moving through, and I had no idea we were supposed to be getting storms today. So you just want to make sure that you have that experience prior to. Miss LJ, if you go to the link in my bio, there is a YouTube link out there where you can go to YouTube and just search for medical coding with legacy education. Okay, Vanessa, I'm getting ready to look. I was going to look on Amazon for those pins, and my brain saw the storm. Sarasa pins. The zebra. Is that what you're saying? These? Hang on, let me pull it up. Sarasa. I don't know how you... Is it these? Is that what you're talking about? Vandal, congratulations on passing your exam this week. That's awesome. And first try. They have to say dry. Okay, hang on. Sarasa pins dry. These? They're more ballpoint pens. I might have to add these to my favorites and look into them, because I've never seen those pens before. Can you get any similar highlighters and pens at Walmart? Yes, the 100%. These, just the yellow, right? Just the yellow. If you get the assorted pack that has like pink and green and blue, those will bleed to oblivion through the pages. But the yellow does not. As far as pens, it's a good question. Let's look and see what they have for no bleed pens. Let's see what they have. They're gel, and they don't smear. I've never been able to find a gel pen that doesn't smear on these pages. I'm not saying that they're not out there. So it looks like this is a fine, oh, that's a pen. Now, I will say, I love these pens on everything else. Like these pens, Sharpie pens, I love them on everything else, but I cannot get them to not bleed. I cannot get them to dry fast enough for it to not smear. But if you do use these, then just take like a couple minutes in between each page, or use like a piece of paper in between pages whenever you flip, and then just move that page back and forth, if that makes sense. But Sharpie pens, like I said, you can, if you have the patience to either put a sheet of paper. So like what I mean by that is if I'm prepping this page, right? And then I go to flip my page, when I flip it back over, put a piece of paper in between here and this page, so that if it does kind of like transfer a little bit, it transfers onto that blank sheet of paper instead of the page before it. So if you want to get something at Walmart, absolutely, these are good. You just have to have a little bit more patience that I don't have. Because if there's anything that you know about me, I would forget to put that page in between. So Sharpie pens are good, but, and only the felt tip Sharpie pens, because the ones that are clickable Sharpie pens, those do smear a lot. Like these Sharpie pens. I love writing with these on regular paper and in notebooks and stuff, but I cannot use them in the code manual. But I'm looking to see. I'm looking to see if there's anything else that might be. Papermate, the flare felt tip pens, they're a little bit too thick of a tip for me to like to write with, but these are good and they do tend to dry down fairly quickly. So the Papermate flare tip, again, I do tend to have a lot of pressure whenever I write. There are some Mr. Pen Bible journaling pens that say that they are no bleed and no smear and all of that, but they are like a shipping type thing, so I don't think you'll be able to get them in the store. Oh, wait, hang on. No, that's not what I was looking for. Yeah, that's the only ones that I'm really seeing. Yeah, DJK Bible pens. I haven't been able to find a whole lot besides that one that I just showed at Walmart. I know that's where she was asking. But, I mean, my biggest piece of advice is go to Amazon. Amazon has everything. If you just if you type in Bible highlighter. These are the ones that you guys are talking about. I know exactly which ones you guys are talking about now. The ones that are square, that are the Mr. Pens. Is that the ones that you guys are talking about? I've seen these here on TikTok, but I haven't looked at them. I think I need to, yeah, okay. I've seen them on TikTok Shop, so I need to just break down and buy them. And then that way I can, link them to the shop. So Mr. Pen highlighters. Oh, they have a highlighter and pen duo. I'm gonna have to get these and see. I don't know that I'll ever be able to give up my trusty yellow one though, just because when you're doing all of your parent codes and all of your highlight or your guidelines, I go through probably 2 of these every time I prep my books. So I can just buy these in bulk. But for like the definitions and other things that I highlight in other colors, I'm going to put these in my shop. So that way. Do I want the assorted, the pastel? What colors do I want? Let's do both. Why not? And then I will add them to my thing. So that way, if you guys want to get them, like I said, I haven't used them yet, so I can't tell you for sure how they work. Oh, but they have these too. I'm such a pin snob. You guys, you have no idea. Like, I get super excited about like different pins that they release, and I get super excited about it, but then I get them and I'm like, I like the thought of like the pins that have that little fidget ball in them, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna add a couple in my showcase, and then I will let you guys know which ones it is that I really like. So that we know for sure which ones I recommend. Hey, Jen. Let's do the spring pastel. Well, it won't even let me add that one to the showcase. That's frustrating. Yeah, I'm gonna order these, and then I'll let you guys know which ones I like. Okay, so you only got the black pins. The ones, even though it's got different colors, does it not have different color of ink? Is that what you're saying? So their yellow highlighter is good. Yeah, I think I'm going to get a couple sets of them, a couple packs of them today. And see. Yeah, Jen, book prep's a lot. I know. I promise. I know book prep takes a long time. It's totally worth it. It's just a matter of... It's just a matter of getting through it. Okay, yeah, I think I'm just going to order those two. Why won't that let me? Is that one sold out? No, it's not eligible to ship. That's interesting. Sorry, I'm over here diving into pins on TikTok. Suzanne, you're doing pathology. Yeah, and then you only have medicine. It goes faster because I was really like, every time I get to medicine, I'm like, oh Lord, medicine's going to take me forever. But it really does go a little bit faster than some of the other sections for sure. Path and Lab goes pretty quick because there's a bunch of pages where you just have a bunch of codes and there's no guidelines or anything like that. So Path and Lab goes quick. I'm telling you guys, I could flip through all of these pins on TikTok Shop all day. And of course, I'm such the sucker that I'm like, oh, it says spend $10 more and you'll get free shipping, but shipping's only $5.99. But guess what? I'm going to spend $10 more so that I'm technically only paying $5 more. I'm crazy. It's fine. I have accepted that a long time ago. For the instructor-led class, Julie, is there anything that needs to be started or done prior to the class? Chapters 1 and 2 and 3. So you'll want to completely do all of the assignments in 1, 2, and 3. And then we will jump directly into chapter 4 on day 1. I'm glad I'm not alone with Vanessa and Paula, and Teresa. Yeah, Teresa says the same thing. Okay, girl math. I don't feel bad. So now I don't have to tell my husband that that's what I did. It's totally fine. Any idea of what percentage people pass the CPC exam the first time? It really is going to depend on where you go. If you go directly through AAPC, I don't know that I don't know that they've ever given. I think they just give an overall pass rate. I don't think they hang on, I'm looking. I don't think they've ever given like pass rates as far as let's see. Oh, well, some of their stuff on their website is outdated because it's still showing that there's 150 questions instead of 100 questions on the exam. So they do not have a pass rate. They just say that it is quote unquote unmatched, but they do not give a number. But like if you go through Legacy, Jen, I don't remember. You're not going through Legacy, right? If you go through Legacy, then Legacy's pass rate is 90% on the first try. And then after that, everybody is certified at a 95% pass rate. And then, but like I said, 90% of those pass on the first attempt. Sorry, my brain literally, I'm still sitting here staring at pens. Like, this is me. This is my brain. Teresa, clearly I need your new stimulant for ADHD because I cannot focus today. I have actually started taking, I haven't taken it today. Maybe that's my problem. I have started taking that methylfolate acid or whatever it is. Yeah, this methylfolate. This is actually works on the days that I remember to take it. Oh, you have not signed up with anybody yet. I was thinking for some reason you had told me before that you had. So if you are wanting the Legacy pass rate, like I said, we have a 95% pass rate, and then 90% of those pass on the first time. Hey, Kay, is it Kay Marielle? Thanks for subscribing. I know I owe you guys some subscriber only videos. This week has been insane. So I promise I am going to get back on those and I'm going to get those caught up. I promise. It's kind of it's for both. So we just do all of it together. I don't know that I've had anybody in my instructor-led courses, at least that has let me know that they have not gotten certified. I think everybody that I have had in my instructor-led courses, minus this one that literally just finished, I don't know that there's anybody that hasn't gotten certified from an instructor-led standpoint. Let's see. I'm going to add some transparent sticky notes. Even though you can't use them in your books, I'm still going to buy them. Because why not? Sorry, I'm still over here looking at Mr. Pin stuff so I can get free shipping. Oh, I'm such a sucker. Such a sucker. I might do a dry erase board. I think I'm going to do a dry erase board. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't know how often I'll use it. Okay. Checking out. Kimmy, don't laugh at me. What are CEUs? Okay, so once you are certified, then you do have to do CEUs every 2 years, okay? If you have a single certification, you have to do 36 CEUs every 2 years. And so you can get CEUs in multiple ways. You can get, hang on, let me do this before I keep getting distracted. Let me check out. And I will go back to CEUs, I promise. Because I will forget to do it, and then I'll wonder why I didn't get the pins, and then realize I never checked out. Okay. Confirmed. CEUs. So you'll have 36 CEUs that you'll have to do every 2 years. Now, your CEUs can be obtained in multiple ways. You can do AAPC magazines, and that will give you 1 CEU. Then you can do AAPC chapter meetings. You can do one like in a city that you're located in. You could do ones that are virtual, as long as it's a virtual meeting and it's open to everybody. Then a lot of the places will offer those that you can do. And then if you want to, you can pay for CEUs. But if you, like, I always call it budgeting it throughout the couple of years, because like I said, they're due every 2 years. So if you do like a little bit every month instead of waiting until the very end to do it all, then you can very easily do it without having to purchase anything. Yes, Teresa, we're still doing the book prep later today. So we're doing it at 6 p.m. Yep. I don't even know what I was doing before we started talking about pens. I was getting ready to do something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hey, Bobby. How are you? Can you all hear the dog snoring in the background today? Because she is in the good sleep. She is in the, I'm on pain meds because I had 4 teeth extracted sleep. She is dead to the world. I know, Bobby. I haven't even been live since we did the sub only live on Monday. So yeah, I feel like it's been forever too. Like, and I said, I even told myself that, because I had boot camp yesterday, and I was talking to my mom last night, and she said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "I ain't doing anything." And then here I am on live, like talking to you guys. So my plan was to lay in bed and do nothing, but I can't even do that. So, so I'm here. Weaver, you signed up. Yay. Did you do self-paced or instructor-led? Are the MDMs in pathology the same as E&M? In the consultations, yes. But in the, hang on, let me find the page. There's in the no, it's one of the consultations, but it's not the one that has, I've just got to figure out what page it's on. I'm looking. Give me a second. Do you have the page number? By chance, Suzanne, of what you're talking about? Bobby, you're the same. Yeah. Yeah. The whole time that I have a day where I relax and do nothing, I feel like absolute garbage the next day because I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that and I should have been doing something else. Yep. Which it's going to be really weird because in a couple of weeks I'm going to Gatlinburg. So you guys probably aren't going to hear from me a whole lot. that week. But it's going to be really weird because I'm not going to know what to do when I'm not doing something all day long. 6:31. I passed it up like 4 times. So let me get back to it. 6:31. So they're going to be a little bit different. So if you notice that it does kind of have the same format, but they're not like the number and complexity of problems isn't looking at the same, like chronic or, acute or complicated versus uncomplicated, all of those things. But the amount and review of the amount and complexity of data is going to be the same. And then your risk of complications is going to be the same. Yep. So it's just that first column. Maybe it being planned will be easier. Well, my family's crazy. And we're going down. My cousin has a lodge that can sleep up to like 30 people. So like there's going to be 30 family members there. And I love my family, but I'm going to be very overstimulated. So you guys may end up seeing me on live saying, save me from these people. Or I'm sitting out on, the balcony. I'm just trying to get quiet. So you guys may still hear from me. It just may not be as much. I don't know. I might go feed myself to the bears too. Who knows? Not really. Ugh. Like, I'm telling you guys, I love my family, but when there are like 15 kids running around screaming their heads off, I have to find silence somewhere. So I'll probably, I'm still going to work my job while I'm down there. It's just going to be a different scene, different scenery, which is going to be nice. And then evenings, I might actually, I don't know. We'll probably go out and do some things every now and then too. I try to go down at least once a year. It depends on if I'm down there, how much I'm going to actually, I'd hide away. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've done it. I've been down there a couple of times where everybody's like, we're going out to dinner. And I'm like, nope, I'm staying in and I will eat a can of ravioli. I will make a sandwich. I don't want to people. But it's going to be, so at the end of March, the waters, it's right on, I don't know if you guys know anything about it, but it's not really in Gatlinburg. It's outside of Gatlinburg in Sevierville. But it is, it's right on Douglas Lake. Literally you could throw a rock off the balcony and hit the lake. And normally when we go down in the summer, it's really nice because the kids can go down and swim and they can play and they can be outside. But that end of March, holy crap, that's next week, guys. I literally just realized that next Sunday is when I'm driving down. So it's not going to be like we can shove them down to the lake and let them let them go down there and get all that energy out. They're going to be like stuck in the house or in the cabin. So I may end up barricading myself in my room or out on the balcony and telling everyone to go away. So yes, so next week we'll probably, I don't know, we'll talk about it on the live tonight when we're doing book prep. I was thinking I had a couple weeks until then. We may not be doing book prep next week. Just because I don't know that there's anywhere that I would be able to set up down there as far as like book prepping and things like that. So yeah, we might have to skip sub-only lives next week. Like I said, we can talk about it tonight whenever we're doing book prepping. And then I technically have to, let me look at the calendar and see if I can even skip study group on Wednesday. It snuck up on me. I thought I had like 2 more weeks to prepare for all of this, and I literally have like 7 days. 16th. Yeah, I've got some time. What chapter is the book prep for? So the book prep that we're going to do tonight on the sub only live, we're going to hopefully finish up E&M. I think I might just suck it up and do as much as we can tonight. However long it takes to do E&M and finish it up. Because we're on page 41. We've been averaging about 20 pages. So yeah, we should be able to finish up E&M tonight. So if you guys want to be in on that book prep, make sure that you are subscribed so that you can have access to that live. I will probably have the preview turned on. I think it gives you like a minute, but if you want the whole time. Do you have to buy all the books each year? Yes and no. If you are studying, it is highly recommended to have the current year of books in order to sit for your exam. Once you get into the real world, depending on your employer, most employers, I don't want to say every single one of them, most of your employers will either purchase hard copy books, ebooks, or an encoder. So technically, like, you get new books every year, but you're not the one paying for them if your employer is paying for those. If you're subscribed, can you go back and watch the book preps? Yes. So if you are subscribed, in the sub-only space underneath the subscription, in there is the link to the Google Drive, okay? In the Google Drive, there is a link to the YouTube channel where the sub-only videos and lives are housed. So you have to make sure that you go into that sub-only space, copy the link for the Google Drive, and then in there, it's going to, once you're in the Google Drive, it's going to give you a link to go to YouTube. But if you were to just go to the YouTube channel, the playlist won't be available. You have to actually have the link for the playlist that is from the Google Drive. Does that make sense, Melinda? Which, end of the month, if you guys were subscribing to the $2.99 a month, at the end of the month, I'll probably do it this Saturday, to be totally honest. Just that way I'm doing it before I leave. And I don't have to do it next week and remember to do it. So yeah, I'm going to do it this Saturday. So the 29th, this Saturday, if you are doing the $2.99 subscriber, then I am going to get rid of that tier, because I thought whenever I created multiple tiers, I would be able to say this group is allowed in this live, this group is allowed in this live, but it's not. If you are a subscriber, period, you get access to all of the lives. So I am only going to have a single level or tier of subscriptions. So I will cancel the $2.99, and then you'll have to resubscribe to the $8.99 after Saturday if you want the subscriptions moving forward. You guys have any questions? All right, I was looking at something. It's saying that there's something up here, but anything you guys want to chat about? I do need to write this email real quick. Give me just a second while I do this. I need to send out for the boot camp that we had yesterday. I need to send out the recording. So if you sign up with Legacy, we are not able to unbundle anything, so we can't do it without the books. But what we can do, Jen, is take that allowance for the books and apply it to 2026 books. So whenever they do come out, like later this year, like September, October, we can purchase those 2026 books for you, so that that's not a purchase that you have to do next year. Is the boot camp for people who have already started the program and have the books? The boot camp is for people that have already taken a course and they're getting ready to sit for the exam, but they need a little bit of a refresher or a review prior to taking the exam. That's what the boot camp, the purpose of the boot camp is. The day for next classes, as far as live instruction, the next class that I have openings for is Wednesdays on May the 7th. What is the internship? Yes, it is different than Practicode. So it is going to be 400 cases that you have to work. It is doing HCCs, so you're only going to be assigning ICD-10 CM codes, but it is separate from Practicode. Yes, it is separate from Practicode itself, and it gives you real world experience. And at the end of your internship, you can put that you have on-the-job experience with Legacy billing and coding. Sorry, guys. I'm going to write this email real quick, get this sent out. And then I'll answer some more questions here in just a second. Okay. Yes, Luna, with the instructor-led. Yes, the next instructor-led course that we have is May the 7th. It's going to be on Wednesday evenings from 6 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. So if you are in Central, it is 5 p.m. If you are in Mountain, it is 4. And then Pacific, it is 3. Hey, Kim. How are you? Can I check page? Yep, hang on. 174. 25110. 10.66. So I'm going to add that one to my list. 174. 25110. Oh no, you have strep. Oh, I'm sorry. That is not fun at all. I, knock on wood, used to get strep all the time, every year. It never failed. And I think I kind of got it as a kid, but it wasn't really that often. And then when I worked in the office, and I was around people, then I did tend to get it on a pretty yearly basis. I know there were at least 4 Christmases I had it in a row. It was miserable. Hang on. Did Crystal? Are you signed up with Legacy, right, Crystal? Yeah, if you're signed up with Legacy and you want to transfer into instructor-led, then we absolutely 100% can. You just have to pay the difference with AAPC. If you're going directly through AAPC, you can call AAPC, and you would just have to pay the difference between the self-paced and the instructor-led. And I believe that they will just put you in the next class that's opening up. You signed up through SweetPay. Did you do, Kim, remind me? I know we've talked about it and I can't keep everybody straight. Are you doing instructor-led or self-paced? I wish I could keep everybody straight in my brains. I can barely remember who I am on a daily basis. Much less unless like I talk to you and I have you on a specific list. I will not remember. It is not personal. I promise you guys, it is not personal because I barely remember where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, the next one that I have is May the 7th. The April class filled up very quickly. I was actually just looking at that. I'm trying to see how many people I have in it. That's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, I have, yeah. Yeah, I am technically one person over enrolled because I had somebody that moved from a previous class to this one. I was trying to see if there was any way I could move anything around, but now, Kim, if you decide that you're doing self-paced and then if you want to kind of like jump in and you want to move to instructor-led come May, if there's a spot open, you can absolutely do that. Or what you could do, I know you've already signed up, but you just have to pay the difference. You can go ahead and pay the difference and get enrolled in May, and you can start all of your stuff prior to. And you can work on your stuff by yourself until May. That's an option if you want that too. Fundamentals of medicine. Yeah, it's a lot of information. One thing that I have, and I know we've talked about this, I don't know who all's on it that we've talked about it before, but one of the things that we, or that I did to help me, and I mean, even still to this day, like it helps me kind of like stay fresh on midterm and anatomy and all of that. And I know it's not the best examples, but because it's all TV, right? There's never going to be anything TV that's going to be 100% unless it's like a straight documentary. Watch medical shows. You'll eventually start to pick up on the words and it's going to like make sense eventually, right? You're going to hear them talking about certain conditions or certain terms or certain procedures, and you're going to go, oh, I know what that means now, type thing. That's what I did in the beginning whenever I was, trying to do that. Brittany, if somebody needs it, you can bump me until May. I don't want to do that to you, though. I don't want to make you wait. I know you've signed up for the May class, and I know you've been signed up for a little bit. Shoot me a message, and we can talk about it. Crystal, if you went through Climb and you went directly through AAPC, I mean, they're all the same, to be honest. AAPC uses Climb, and I don't remember what the other one is that they use for financing. Legacy, which is where I'm the coach, we use SweetPay as our financer. You don't have to memorize it. Though the easiest thing to do is just familiarize yourself with the terms so that whenever you see them later on, it's not going to be fresh information. It's not going to be brand new information and all of that kind of stuff. The more you use it and the more you see it, the more it's going to stick with your brain and make sense. Is the difference a lot? If you're going directly through AAPC, I honestly don't remember what the cost of the difference is. And it all is going to depend on which package you did for the self-paced. So you would have to call AAPC directly. Yeah, if you, I'm sure if you worked in the emergency department, you saw a lot. I watch, I have friends that are, nurses in the ED. And that code for the emergency department, both of them. And some of the things that they have are a little crazy. So yeah, I definitely can feel the fact that you learned a lot in the ED. Sometimes a little bit more than you might want to. But yes, you will definitely learn a lot in the emergency department. Yeah, Jen, if you sign up for a self-paced and you need a little one-on-one help, yeah, absolutely. You can shoot us emails. You can schedule one-on-one Zoom meetings. So whenever you sign up, then Rachel in your initial enrollment email will give you 2 links to a website called Calendly. And that is where you can schedule time as needed with myself and Rachel. Do I think Ultimate Medical Academy is worth it? I have not heard great things. I cannot personally say because I never went through the course. I have heard students say that they got incorrect books, that they may not have had the support that they were told that they were going to have. It was really hard to get answers from. So I would just do a little bit of research, a little bit more, and get testimonies from students that went directly to UMA. Versus it being more hearsay from me. I'm not saying that it's a bad program, but it definitely could use some work. You feel like you've seen it all. Yeah. Crystal, if you're not a student of Legacy right now, we don't have individual one-on-one coaching for non-Legacy students. That is going to be changing soon. We do have someone that we are working on getting onboarded to do coaching for students that are not of Legacy. But as of right now, we won't be able to get that done. But like I said, we are in the process. We just don't know how quickly that transition is going to happen. But as soon as we do have that availability, then I will let you guys know for sure. No. If you sign up with Legacy, Jen, all of your coaching is included. So you do not have to make any additional purchases. Anytime you need to schedule those one-on-one sessions with myself or Rachel, then we will definitely, like, it's all included. You can meet with us every single week if you needed to, and that's all included. I just had somebody message me that it popped up. Let me look. I don't think it was you, Brittany. But I know I had somebody message me just a second ago. Oh, no, it was a TikTok message. It wasn't even a somebody real message. Crystal, your sister went to UMA. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not saying that, I mean, if you are a very independent learner, then those kinds of courses, and it all depends on, I don't know, I think they create their own curriculum. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine, Brittany. Either way. I think, let me look, because like I said, I don't think they use AAPC material, but let me look. I think that's part of the problem that people struggle with it, is the fact that they don't have AAPC material and they are creating their own, and it does tend to be not what people need in order. Oh, and they also, that's what it is. They also, quote unquote, prepare you for the CBCS, which is not a coding certification. It is a billing certification. That's exactly what it is. That's why I didn't ever encourage people to look at it. It's because they focus more on billing than they do coding. So Jen, if it gives you any encouragement or relief, I have had many students that struggle with test anxiety. And like I said, 90% of our students pass on the first try, and then there's an overall, so we have a 95% pass rate, 90% of them pass on the first try. Yeah, Crystal, unfortunately, I totally forgot that was one of the ones that does quote unquote billing and coding with the CBCS. And then they promise people that you're going to be able to get your CBCS and it's a coding certification. And it is not. Kim, is that who you went through? Is UMA? Or did you go through UMA before and that's why you're doing? Okay, maybe I was just totally reading that comment out of complete context. It's not impossible. If y'all knew how my brain processes things today, then it's totally fine. What else you guys want to chat about? Oh, guys. Yuck. I'm looking at that UMA program and like the credits and stuff that you get. you get 38 credits with your billing specialist diploma program, which they're not even saying is billing and coding. So whenever you click on the link, it says billing and coding. But then whenever you scroll down, it is medical office and billing specialist. They don't even teach you coding. That's why they're giving you the CBCS exam. Oh, wait, hang on. There's a different one. Yeah, the CBCS exam is considered like a billing exam, unfortunately. Yes, Vanessa, all of the books are included in our course, in the legacy course. Yep. So in the 2,700 for self-paced or the 3,700 for instructor-led, again, you can use that discount code TRCC to get 10% off. In there, you get your course. You get physical copies of the textbook and the workbook, physical copies of all 3 of your coding manuals. You get the boot camp, the book prep, coaching. You get resume services. You get the Practicode. Well, hang on, let me back up. The resume services. You get your AAPC membership, 2 exam vouchers. You get Practicode to remove the apprenticeship, and then you get your internship at the end. Yes, Jen. So after you complete the legacy course, then the course itself counts as 1 year. Practicode counts as your 2nd year, and then that will, in combination, that will remove the apprenticeship. Everyone is approved with SweetPay. The only criteria with SweetPay, because it does not get run on based on your credit, and it does not affect your credit. Okay, so you can have no credit, bad credit, or great credit. Everyone is going to get approved. The only thing that you have to have is a bank account. Madeline, we don't finance through a firm, but from what I understand, SweetPay, like their payment plans are very similar to what a firm would do, if not a little bit lower. Yeah, Kim, it is very similar. Yeah. How long does it take to receive the books? So from the day that you get officially enrolled. So if you do SweetPay, then it does add an extra 5 days because we have to wait for the funds to transfer from you to SweetPay, then SweetPay to us. But from the day that you get your enrollment email from Rachel, so let's say you sign up for SweetPay tomorrow, then 5 days, 5 business days. So the Monday after that, you would get your enrollment email from Rachel. And then from there, she will order your books on the same day. And then some people are getting them within a few days. Some people, it's taking about a week, week and a half. It all depends on where you're located, how close you are to the distribution center, the day that you purchase, things along those lines. Because if you were to purchase on like a Friday, they don't process anything on Friday until Monday from an AAPC standpoint because they don't have weekend hours. So therefore, they probably wouldn't send out your stuff until Monday, and then your couple of days would start from there, if that makes sense. Okay, so Kim, if you did yours last Monday, you should be getting your enrollment email tomorrow from Rachel. Yep. It should hopefully come tomorrow. The last couple of months, it's been those 5 business days, not including the weekends. So if it's Monday, you get it the next Monday. If it's Wednesday, you typically will get it the next Wednesday. Yep. Any other helpful books? No, really. I mean, do you have midterm and anatomy knowledge, Vanessa? No. Okay. So then what I would recommend is getting this book. This is your Midterm and Anatomy for Coding. It is a great, great, great resource that you can review each chapter. And it's really good. If you want to do a structured course for Midterm and Anatomy, then you can do the Fundamentals of Medicine book, or the Fundamentals of Medicine course with Legacy. That one is $9.50, but this one's $80. So if you feel like this is something that you can just review little by little, then this book is good. You can get it on Amazon for, I think it's like 75 bucks. Jen, if you pay up front for self-paced, Rachel will process your enrollment within 24 hours. And then it would get, okay, hang on. If she processes your enrollment, then she would process it usually that day or the next day, depending on how flooded she is. And then it does take 24 hours for AAPC to actually open up the course in your Blackboard system. That's just across the board. So if you were to order today, you would probably get your enrollment email tomorrow, and then you would probably more than likely get your access to the actual course in Blackboard on Tuesday. Yeah, get that book on Amazon. It is great. It is amazing. I wish that like somebody would sell it on TikTok Shop so that I could just link it in there and make it easier. Yeah, it's a really good book. I use that whenever I taught at the college level. And then I use that, and I've carried that book with me ever. No, I mean, not that book. I did have I do still have the 3rd edition back on one of those things, but I've just upgraded recently to the 5th edition here. But I mean, it's all exactly the same. There's just new, anatomic illustrations in some of them. But all the information is exactly the same. You are very welcome, Vanessa. That's why I like doing these, because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions, but they don't want to they don't know who to ask. They don't know what to ask until, we answer a question, and then you're like, oh wait, that brought up another question. Or you see somebody else ask a question, and then that triggers a question for you. So I'm totally happy answering as many questions as I need to. Yeah, Melinda, that's a good idea. If you don't want to do everything all at the beginning, then you can absolutely, as you're getting ready to start chapter 7 for integumentary, review your skin, the anatomy of the skin and the midterm of the skin, and then just kind of do it with every single section. Absolutely. Great idea. 100%. I feel like I start to go do something in Blackboard every other day or every other hour or second or whatever I'm trying to say. And then my brain says, no, let's go do something else that's going to make your brain forget that you need to do whatever it is that you were going to do. So what's the difference between the CPB and the CPC? CPB is your billing credential. So you are learning the ins and outs of Medicare, different types of insurance policies, modifier usage, appeals, just billing information in general. Whereas your CPC, you are learning this book inside and out. You are essentially making this your brain. You will utilize this in your CPB, but you are not going to be the one that is actually coding and appending the codes to the claims. You have 2 other manuals too. This one was just sitting right here. But you will utilize the coding manuals in billing, but you are not going to be the ones that are actually reading the reports, extracting the information, assigning the codes, all of that kind of stuff. Whereas your CPC is the one where you are reading the book or reading the reports or the charts, extracting the information, assigning the codes, figuring things out. So that's the difference between the CPB and the CPC. Bobby, that's a good question. I don't think that they do. But that's a good question. Let me text Rachel real quick and see if she knows off the top of her head. I don't know how quickly she's going to answer. I know she had some family stuff that she was doing this weekend, so she was going to be out of office. Okay, good. So you can pay off early, no penalty. Good to know. Good to know. Do I recommend testing with ebook or real book? I will tell you, I literally just had this conversation with someone in my Facebook group yesterday, and this has scarred me, and I will never choose ebooks as long as I have the options for physical books. And I will tell you why. Not to scare anyone, but this was my concern when they initially said ebooks were an option. She went through the registration process. She did everything the way that she was supposed to do it. She got to her exam yesterday. Ebooks were nowhere to be found. Nowhere. They saw in her registration ebooks were supposed to be there. It was a Saturday. They couldn't call AAPC to get it fixed. So she had to make the decision. Do I chance it? Absolutely not. She had older books. And luckily she got a proctor that let her use her older books that should not have been able to be used, but they were not there. And that is my fear. Technology glitches. If she were to have not brought her books, or she were to have, traveled to the testing site and did not have books, she would have technically had to have forfeited, which they probably would have ended up. But just the stress of knowing, now I have to go through the whole thing again, right? So I am a huge proponent. I do not think that ebooks are as user-friendly or are going to make it super easy to take your exam like everybody is swearing up and down that they will. I am a huge proponent for physical copies. Again, I don't know how long you guys have been on here, but I will always have my physical books until they pry them out of my cold dead hands where they do not offer physical books anymore. I will always have physical books because I am scared to death that technology is going to glitch in that way. And then that's just a whole level of stress that I don't want to have on me. If that makes sense. But yes. Yes, Vanessa, it's on sale. Yeah, on Amazon. Yep. So if you are already a biller and you're not certified, you more than likely already have the knowledge for billing to do the billing certification. But if you want to do the dual course, then it's really not that much more to just add on the dual course on top of it, so that you can get the course and your certification exam vouchers in there. Yes, we have a self-paced boot camp. However, if you do enroll, Jen, then if you do enroll, then your boot camp is included. So you can either do a live instruction or a self-paced, whichever one you want to do. Any tips on how to study to pass the exam? AAPC official practice exams that you can either purchase directly from AAPC or through us at Legacy. Those are, I'd recommend even to our students. If they feel like they need additional practice, those AAPC practice exams are invaluable. If you have already done the practice exams, then watch the study group sessions on YouTube that are out there. The link is in my bio to get to our YouTube channel. And then on top of that, if you feel like you don't understand your book or what's in your book, then book prep can help with getting a little bit more confident with book usage, the guidelines, and the information that's in there. My husband just sent me a text message. That we have a student that has started talking about our program a lot. My husband is not on TikTok, so I don't know how he found this. But we have a student that has been tagging me in a lot of stuff, talking about our book prep method. Kim, you've seen her stuff pop up too? Yeah, Melissa, she's great. She's awesome. Yes, and if you do ebooks during the exam, that's another big thing. You won't have any notes. Whenever you transfer or whenever they load in the ebooks into the exam platform, it is not your physical, or not your physical, it is not your book that shows up. It is a blank copy. So if you have highlighted, if you have made notations, then none of that will show up. No, the book prep method is not on YouTube, but the Sunday night book prep sessions that we do, since you're part of the sub only, we do book prep on Sunday nights live. So we'll do 6 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. If you do this self-paced program, you will get book prep included. So you'll get access to the OneDrive that has all of the book prep documents in there. Yep. Does anybody else have a husband that he's like a 13-year-old boy? I swear he is. I love him, but he's crazy. You've had the course in your cart 50 times. What questions can I answer, Jen? Like, let me know. What questions will help ease your mind? Any questions that you have, shoot them out. I'm happy to answer anything that you've got. Yes, if you're doing the legacy course, you can just do a straight pay, no financing, anything like that. It would be $24.30 if you use the self-paced with discount code TRCC. So that brings out to $24.30, and then there's taxes on top of it. Or if you want to do the instructor-led, it is $3,700 minus $370. Somebody do the math for me. I think it's like 32 and some change. I don't know, my brain today. So it's just going to take a little bit more off. It takes 10% off and then your taxes. But yes, you can do a straight pay, no financing options or anything like that. Vanessa, I don't know. No, I don't think there's going to be any more spots that open up for the April class. And I like to keep my class sizes small so that I don't have students that feel like I have so many people in there and I'm not able to like answer all of the questions and give them the attention that I feel like our students deserve. So I do max out my class sizes. I actually, last year I maxed them out at 8. This year I maxed them out at 12. And like I said, my April, I had one that moved from another start date from earlier in the year, and she had to move. So that did increase it. So right now, no, I don't think I'm going to have anything open up for April. Yeah, Kim, I love small class sizes. It makes it easier so people don't feel like they're talking over each other or fighting for attention or anything along those lines. Yeah. Now, what you can do is you can go ahead and sign up for the May class. And if for some reason, I have had this happen in the past, if I have someone that moves to another, like I said, I had somebody that moved from one and went into May or into April. If I have that happen and I do happen to have a seat that opens up, then I do tend to reach out to other starts to see if they want to move up. Bamer girl, you're going to sign up in the next couple of days. Do you have any questions? Are you going to do self-paced or instructor-led? So Jen, we have one official AAPC practice exam that's included in your course. However, we have a large test bank, like over 1,000 questions that we use that are written by AAPC. So it's the same types of questions that are going to show up on the practice exams, that we have created a ton of extra, like quote unquote unofficial, but they are AAPC written questions. So we can absolutely give you additional questions on top of that. Jessica, yeah, I was just looking at the April class here. Yeah, I see you in there. I'm excited. I can't believe it's next week already. So next week I'm going to be in Gatlinburg, but we're still going to hold class. Like, that's not a problem. But yeah, next week I'm going to be in Gatlinburg. So it's going to be a change of scenery for me, but class is going to go on just like normal on our first day. But everything else I am moving except for classes. So I'm moving all the lives. I'm moving all of that kind of stuff. But okay, so you're doing self-paced. Okay. If you have any questions while you're doing it, obviously shoot me a message, shoot me emails, shoot Rachel emails, all of that kind of stuff. You do still have access to us as coaches, even though you do self-paced. You can just send us emails. You can schedule time, anything like that. Oh, hey, Minnie. Thanks for subscribing. So if you just subscribed, we're going to do a book prep live tonight at 6 p.m. So it's a sub-only live. We're going to finish book prepping, evaluation, and management. Yes, the Legacy website is in my profile. It's medicalbillco.com/CPC. But if you go to my profile, wrong one. If you go to my profile and then you click here and the link tree, it's going to open up. It's the first one. And then it is the top one here, the medical coding courses. And then it's right here at the top. So yes, Bobby, if you use SweetPay, you can still use code TRCC. When you go through the quote unquote application process, it's really not like a huge application because it's really not much. But there's going to be a box that you're going to fill out that it says like describe the course that you want to take and the cost that you're wanting to finance. So you're not actually going to put the course into the cart. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you this on, so you'll do financing options, and then it's going to open this up. So you will click on check your loan options, and then you'll fill this out with your contact information. Again, the application details, I'm just going to fill this out real quick and get to the application details so I can show you guys. What it looks like. And again, I'm doing it on my phone, so it may not be the best. If you're doing it on the computer, it's going to be a little different. Hang on, I'm trying to get through contact information so you guys don't see addresses and stuff. So what you'll do is on the application, it'll say requested amount. So what you'll do, you'll have like $2,700, right? And then you'll put in your income. So I'll just say $2,700, gross income, and just whatever, right? And then it said, are you sure this is the correct monthly income? Because I just put like some random number. So I'll just say 2,000, just a random. And then it does ask you for your social. That is only because they're just verifying your identity. They're not actually putting anything in, okay? And then you'll just kind of put in whatever, put in your social. Again, I'm not going to show you guys that. And then in this box here is where you want to say CPC course using TRCC 10% discount. And then they will adjust that amount at the beginning based on that discount code. So this screen here. So tell us what product or service you're buying and include the price. That's where you'll put it in. Kim, you signed your contract already, right? Okay. I don't know that they'll go back and do it afterwards. You can always call them or email them and see if they would honor it afterwards. I don't know if they will or not. They may not. If they tell you no, then, I mean, it hurts. It doesn't hurt for, to ask. But if they do, then it'll save you money afterwards. Bobby, you're welcome. I'm happy to help. So, okay, so you put in so I put in the amount with the discount, but it said $2,700. So whenever sorry, I just now saw that comment. Did you put in the code with the discount or the discounted amount? Because you do have to specifically have that in there. So I would just reach out to them and say that because you had put in the financing amount as what would have been without or with the code, see if they'll still update it and honor it. I don't know. Can't hurt to ask, right? Sorry, my husband just, oh my gosh, he's so special, I swear. He said he just created his TikTok account. He's never had one. And his username is cracking me up. It's not even one that I want to say out loud because it's that, just like I said, my husband's a 13-year-old boy and it's totally fun. Sarah, how do you get the book prep? You're signed up through Legacy already and you have started. Okay. In your enrollment email originally from Rachel, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, then there should be a link down there. I'm trying to look and see if I can find your enrollment email. If for some reason you can't find that email or it's not at the bottom, then shoot me an email and we can, did I answer your email that you sent me earlier on March the 5th? Because it's showing that I didn't, but I swear to you I did, about your physical books. Did I answer that email, Sarah? Bobby, I'm telling you, he keeps me on my toes. Some days I question my sanity. I'm sure some days he questions his too. Hi, Bubbles. Do you want to come say hi? Come here. You want to come up and say hi? Come on. Can you all see him? I don't know if you all can see him down there. Come here. Hey. Come on. See him back there. Rotten boy. Come on. You do it every other time. Come here. Okay, but you did get them. Okay, good. I swear, like now I'm like second guessing whether I need to go through all of my emails and make sure I really did to respond to something and I didn't just think I did. How long does it take to get books after you're registered? From the day that you get your enrollment email, from the day that you get your enrollment email, typically they're coming in like 5 days. But the request is that you give 10 business days just in case there's like backup at the distribution centers and they're like getting a lot of orders to get processed. Kim, they do. They do for sure. And when they say polar opposites attract too. What's funny is we actually went to high school together. And we didn't like really know who each other was in high school. Like I knew who he was, but we didn't like hang out or talk or anything. And then after high school, I got married and was married for a little bit and then got divorced and yada, yada, yada. And then we met up on social media and we went out on a date. And the whole time we were sitting there and I was like, I know this kid. I know him from somewhere and I can't figure out where it was. And then he sent me a request on Facebook the next day. And I was like, holy crap, that's who you are. But whenever I got divorced, I never went back to my maiden name. And so that's why he never put 2 and 2 together. Do you suggest prepping your books beforehand? You've seen other videos saying that you shouldn't. It's totally up to you. There's a lot of students that will prep it beforehand. There's some students that will prep it like section by section as they're going through the course. And then there's some students that will wait until the very end. So it totally just depends on how your brain wants to process the information. Rebecca, can I see if you're registered? When did you sign up? Did you do financing or did you do pay in full? Those are the 3 questions that I need first. You did financing? Is that what that yes is to? Financing. When did you make your down payment? What day? Last Wednesday. Okay, so I won't have record of it yet because it doesn't actually get sent over. You should get your registration email from Rachel on Wednesday of this week. It takes 5 business days for that to get processed and transferred over to us. And then once the funds are released, again, it takes that 5 business days. So if you did Wednesday of last week, it will be Wednesday of this week that you get your enrollment email. I am in Eastern time zone. What are you in, Jen? You are welcome. It's starting to rain. You're in Eastern. Okay. Yeah, so if you do the instructor-led, we'll be in the same time zone. And then even if you do the self-paced, we'll still be in the same time zone. That's not going to change anything. But yeah, and so the nice thing is Rachel's actually on the West Coast. So whenever you send emails and you copy both of us in, we kind of tag team on those emails. So if you send it after like 6 o'clock my time, Rachel will typically be the one to respond. And then if you send it super early in the morning, I'll typically be the one to respond. So we kind of have it all covered somewhat. I mean, we do, but where are you, Jen? Just curious. Where are you? You're in Eastern, so I know you're at least east of the Mississippi, but you have it in your cart again. I've had a lot of people that have been in Central Pennsylvania that have done courses. Believe it or not, like I've had more than like 2 or 3. Like I know of at least 5 that I don't know what it is about Central Pennsylvania. Must be popular. You're welcome, Sarah. I'm glad you found it. I was going to say, worst case, you can just send me, you can send me an email, but since you found it, good job. Fantastic. Yeah, I know of at least 3 of them that have gotten jobs. I need to reach out to the other 2 and see. I know they're certified. I know for sure that they are certified. I know, like I said, I know of at least 3 of them that have gotten certified or that have gotten jobs. I need to reach out and see about the other 2. Working from home. I believe, if I'm thinking correctly, I believe one of them is, I think it's kind of a mixture. One is in office, one is hybrid, and one is at home. Tara, where did you end up going? Community college with Ed to Go. Yeah. Are you using like Career Step or like the workforce grant? Is that what you're doing with the Ed to Go? Oh, Briston, you're doing financing. Did you apply for it today? You should hear from them tomorrow. Either way, even if it was even if it was like Friday or Saturday. Yeah, so you should hear from them tomorrow at some point. Anything that gets kind of submitted or processed or anything over the weekend, they'll reach out. Congratulations. That's awesome, Tara. I'm so happy. Is congratulations what you say for that? I don't know. You know what I mean, though. Yeah, you're an LPN with 13 years. Yeah. The bedside is hard. Oh my gosh. Bedside is so hard. Like I have so many friends. I've never personally done it. The only thing that I have that is semi-comparable to it, and I guess it is in a way, but at the same time, it's nowhere near what nurses have to deal with. Before I did coding, I was in the dental field. I did a couple of years as an assistant, decided that was not what I wanted to do because it was nasty and it was gross. And it was just no. But then I did management in the dental for a little bit, and it was, again, no thank you. Can you share the book prep pins again? Yep. It is, if you want to take a screenshot, and I'll show you the exact ones that I get for each color. Let me get the lids moved around so that you'll be able to see them. Okay, so it is Pigma Micron. Okay, for the orange and the red, it is the 0.5. For the blue, it is 0.1. And that's what makes me be able to write clear enough for me to be able to see and things not bleed, and small enough. So the Pigma Micron and then 0.5 in the orange and the red, and then 0.1 in the blue. Jen, you checked out. Yay! I'm excited. That's awesome. I know, pulling the trigger and doing it is the hardest part. Because if you are like me, you're so scared of that buyer's remorse, but I promise it's not. There's not going to be buyer's remorse. It's going to be a lot of hard work, for sure, but you'll be able to do it. Lean on us the entire time. So Milk Honey, apply to jobs anyways. Apply. Make sure that your resume is professionally done. That is going to help it get through those little filters that it does before it even gets to a human. Make sure that you have that. Make sure that, again, you just apply. There are going to be some jobs that they don't get everybody that meets every requirement, and they might continue to go down the list of people that don't meet everything, but they meet everything except for the experience. And at that point, there are going to be jobs that are going to be open for people. And some employers will prefer people that do not have experience, because that way they don't have to untrain them on bad habits that they have already developed. Right now, it is just myself and Rachel as far as coaches and instructors. However, we are in the process of bringing on someone else. We don't know how quickly that's going to happen, but we are in the process of bringing on someone else to kind of help a little bit. But right now, like I said, myself and Rachel, and then even after we do bring on that other person, we will continue to be the main coaches for legacy students, and then students that aren't of legacy is kind of where we're going to start to shift attention to this person that we are bringing on. So two. I don't know why I can't just answer a question without feeling like I have to give a whole lot of backstory. But yes, as of right now, we have two. We will eventually have three, but one of them is going to be completely dedicated to non-legacy students, if that makes any sense. I feel like I go in circles every single time you guys ask a question. I do have to hop off of here in a couple of minutes. My phone is getting ready to die. My husband's getting ready to get off of work. I've got all the things, and I've got to get ready for the live that we're having tonight. Okay, so Kim, you're an RN. You've been in CDI for 1.5 years, and you want to learn about certifications. Do you have a specific certification that you want to chat about? Like I said, I have 5 minutes until I have to hop off. Vanessa, thank you for dealing with my my here, there, and everywhere, and my inability to be attentive and just answer a question. We don't have anything at Legacy in regards to CDI specifically. If you're wanting to do CDI, AHEMA, let me see what their cert is specifically for CDI. I think it's the CDIP. Yeah, it is the CDIP if you're wanting to do it from a practitioner standpoint. If you are wanting to do it from a facility standpoint, I don't know what it would be, but let me look. Yeah, the CDIP is the only one that I see, like specifically, but I know that there's one from a facility standpoint, but I don't know what it's called. Certification, AHIMA certifications. Hang on, sorry, I'm out here looking real quick. Maybe it is just the CDIP. I thought they had another one out there. Yeah, that's the one that I would look into, is the CDIP. In order to do the CDIP, you do have to either hold an associate's degree, have completed an HIM degree, or hold a CCS, CCSP, RHIT, or RHIA. So those are the one, you have to meet one of those 3 requirements. Yeah, Kimberly. Okay, so ACDIS. I haven't really looked into them a whole lot. It's not anything that I have on my radar, so I don't really know a whole lot about it. Jen, for the book prep that we do live on Sundays, you just have to be a subscriber here on TikTok. It does not let me put current students of Legacy in there for free. So I don't know how to get that to you guys as Legacy students, but if you want to just subscribe here on TikTok, then I believe it's down in the bottom right-hand corner. There's a subscription, and then you just do it down there. If you're doing your CPMA at the end of April, and you want to draw in the E&M tables, do it in a book other than your CPT. And the reason that I say that is if you were to put it in like your HCPCS manual in one of your pages in HCPCS, trying to find a good one that you could do. If you want to put it in HCPCS, so this one right here, right on the page 6, essentially. It's a totally blank page. Put it in here. So that way, as you are looking at your tables, you can also look at your CPT manual and you can have them side by side. Does that make sense? So I highly recommend not doing it in your CPT manual, putting it in your HCPCS. So this is, I know somebody was asking about, I don't know if you're still on or not. Somebody was asking about moving your, how to keep your book from unwinding. So if you saw, whenever I did this with my HCPCS, it started to come undone, right? So what you can do, and I'm actually going to sit here and do this real quick so you guys can see exactly what I've done. Flip it back through, okay? I'm going to take this. If I were you, I would not use your cuticle cutters, but that is all that I have right here. So it works, right? And just literally flip it back. And don't try to cut your face off. Flip it back. Oh, I just bent that. That's why you want to use pliers and not cuticle cutters. But if you flip it back, hang on, let me do this real quick. If you flip it back over each other, if you flip it back over, now whenever you flip it, it's going to catch and it's not going to go. But do what I say, not what I do. Don't use cuticle cutters. And use, what's it called? Use pliers. There you go. So now it's flipped and now it won't come undone. All right, guys, I have to hop off of here. Like I said, my husband's getting to get off work. I have literally been on here for like 3.5 hours. But don't forget, if you want to do book prep live tonight, where we're going to prep the CPT manual, we're going to finish up we're going to finish up E&M. Make sure that you subscribe so that you can get in on it. And then if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll chat with you guys later.